And we're live.
Are we live?
We're live.
We're live. Can you hear me? This is the sound. Do we have any sound issues? All right, let's say hello, and welcome back. Oh my God, he's got 4 cameras. He's genius.
Hey, very nice.
Here we are. We're both on the cameras together. Fantastic.
Perfect.
Is my sign? I gotta turn my sign on. Oh my God. All right. Well, let's say hello to everybody. Hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
It's me and Daniel for another episode of the beginning game. Oh, and there's Dennis. Let's not forget Dennis, dude, because Dennis averages out the ages nicely, dude. We're at average age of like 32.
Yeah, then we're working at that.
Right? Okay. We have a very special show today. And I say that because every show is special.
Mm-hmm,
all right,
absolutely.
So we like to put that out there. And before I get started, I definitely want to give a shout out to some great friends who have stopped by today and checked us out. One of which, Chad and his wife, Chadwick and his wife stopped by today. Lucky Lady Travel Services. He came by, big fans of ours.
Mm-hmm.
We played a little. They rolled an epic hand. Actually, some other friends from Kingman rolled an epic hand. Already forgot their name. I only remember, if it wasn't for the card, I would have forgotten poor Chadwick's name. But we have been having a wonderful time. We've been filling up out here.
Wow.
We have 200 forward reservations. So if you are looking to hang out with us at Casino Quest, definitely get your reservation in. We are selling out on some days now.
Really?
Selling out.
Perfect.
We don't have the tables or the dealers. So we have a few more tables on the way. Thank you, Pit Boss John. And we hope to use those and integrate them into the Craps Quest that we have become. And we are just having so much fun, so much joy. You know, when you come to Casino Quest, it's all about the positivity.
Do you get a lot of people working on craps particularly? Is that
Oh,
the
yeah.
game?
This is literally Craps Quest.
That seems like
Every now and then, somebody somewhere wants to hang out with Alex. We don't understand this. We can never understand this. No, we love Alex. No, yeah. So we get more people flowing into the other areas. There's a few crap players. They bring either their wives or their significant others, and some of them like to play the other games.
Sure.
So we had a breakout Ultimate Texas Hold'em today, Pai Gow, a few different games, and then of course we have blackjack, roulette. What else? We have everything. We have everything here.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Everything you could
Little
possibly
casino.
want. We are a little casino, and it's all about entertainment, all about positivity. I do want to say that despite wanting to keep everything positive, our hearts and minds go out to a certain place that is being
absolutely
that is under stress.
Can you imagine living under those conditions?
No,
wow.
no, I can't. And we hope it comes to a finish. And yeah, all right. Back to the good stuff. We have a few announcements first before we get to the show. This is going to be a very interesting show because this is going to be a beginner gambler table games. So if we're going to introduce you to the table games, what to avoid, what to look out for, how to play. Not. This would be like a 10-hour show to go into sort of how to play. And we may break it down by the table, but for now we're sort of introducing all the tables. But
Kind of a light hit on each one, right?
a light hit,
Yeah.
a little shellacking.
There you go.
Sir, not the good lube, just the intro lube. Oh my
my
God, I
God.
just went all the way there.
He's
Cover
starting
your ears,
early.
folks. Yep.
It's early.
If you're young, now's the time to leave the room. You know what I mean? No. This is a PC, PG, all filtered, all
When
day
have
long.
you ever been PG?
Yeah, my problem is we were talking about this today, the filtered thing. It's tough being filtered. You got to be filtered nowadays. You have no choice.
Oh, really?
You can't. It's speaking your mind is like who? You know what?
Yeah,
you
they
can't
make
really,
it seem like you can say what you want.
No, you can't say what you want, dude.
No.
It's only free as long as it doesn't cost money. Free.
Right.
You know what I mean? Free is like there's nothing. Okay, but let's get this show on the road. Dennis, did you say hello?
Do I have to say hello? Hi.
I
Hello.
mean, we have
Hello.
people come in just asking for Dennis. In fact, there was a couple here today, and they're playing, and they look up, and the wife realizes that it's Dennis dealing.
Dennis.
And she nudges the husband and goes, "It's Dennis."
He's a
And he was
legend.
like, "Oh my God."
This story isn't true, by the way.
It is. It's sort of true. It's sort of true. So they recognized that it was Dennis. It's quite something because he doesn't think that he's ever noticed.
Oh, I
Which
think
I don't
he
understand
is.
because he's in like all our stuff.
And all the comments are about him.
I mean, a lot of the comments. I don't know about all the comments, sir. Leave a little for us, will you?
I think he means the chat, not the comments.
Yeah.
The chat.
When
no.
they're talking, a lot of it.
Dennis is our joy.
Yeah.
We love Dennis. He's evolving. Plus his birthday. That's the next big announcement.
And
Go.
you know, let's be the first to bring his hair up. I was looking at
oh,
some videos of your
good for you,
guys
sir.
for research, and
Yeah.
let me tell you, he
Yeah.
definitely looks a lot better.
Were you researching? No, you have plenty of hair. I mean, those of us that are
he's
hair
talking about when I had long hair.
Yeah, he
Oh,
had
when you had long.
hair.
Oh, when you had long hair. Yeah, no,
little
he was
scruffy.
Yeah, no, he was. He looked like one of those Spanish models, you know, on the books, on the books, the paperback books. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not. Okay. Anyways.
Not my Spanish model.
Yeah, I know. You're reading different different books. Okay. We do have some announcements because we've had quite a few of you RSVP. And wait, do I have to do the plugs first? I gotta do the plugs. Not my hair, by the way. Just the advertisements. Good Lord, man. Here we go. Oh my God, there you go. CasinoQuest.biz/RSVP. And then Patreon, 5 new videos. In fact, we are going to be upgrading. Our prices have to go up. As you know, inflation has set in.
It has, definitely.
Gas prices have gone up. Everything is more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And so we are passing along. We are giving some gas bonuses to all of our employees this Wednesday. We're supposed to do it last Sunday, but we got busy. Frankly, Lauren forgot to tell her. But anyways, we won't blame Lauren for it. But this Wednesday, if you're an employee of ours, please stop by Casino Quest for your money. Anyways, yeah, so Patreons are going to get 5 new videos. I mentioned that because if you happen to be a Patreon at a certain level, we're going to lock in sort of lower prices, discounts, and you come out to Casino Quest, you'll still have like freebies because we're trying to move everybody, get everybody into the member category.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So we know who you are, we know where you live, we know where, you know, where to send the stuff, right? Okay. Beyond that, what else? I don't even know what the hell. I can't even read it. I got a big ass camera in front of me. Okay. Oh, Crapsy.com. Crapsy.com is fantastic. The table I was with today, they're all on Crapsy. One of the issues, the number one thing they talked about is not being able to sort of promote their table. They have a table, they put it out there, but you know, they want people because you get a table name. You play Crapsy, and people can join your table if they know the table name. Table name.
Yep.
But you need friends. You have to have friends to tell the table to. Otherwise, if you don't have friends, nobody comes and joins your table.
You just sit there by yourself.
You literally play with yourself.
Well,
but we're working on something right now to where you can, you know, broadcast your table to other people who are part of Craps
and
have
have
the
people
community.
join
Have
you.
people join. Find
That's
your table.
fantastic.
Say, hey, this is the table I'm playing. Can you come over and play?
Start a little community. That's
No, 100%.
perfect. Yeah.
That's the goal. And what was the other thing? They had some other commentary too. But just know that Crapsy is in an evolutionary stage. It's evolving almost like Dennis. Not as fast as Dennis, quite simply, but it's evolving. And we are integrating all these wonderful we are Chuck and his team is taking feedback like it's nobody's business. Have you ever played a game? I don't know if you've ever do you know what I mean, MMOs? I mean, have you played in like
a massive online player.
Really?
I play all of them. I played
play all-
EverQuest when it first came out.
I played EverQuest when it first came out.
Warcraft,
Oh, good for you,
and,
sir. Wow.
In fact, my life has mirrored the beginning of the computer age. When I was in high school,
Wow.
I was on the Apple II and programmed BASIC on it.
We
and-
gotta talk, dude. You played
yeah.
EverQuest when it first came out?
Oh, God, yeah. I was the beginning
I was on a
group.
Landrifle. What server were you on?
I was.
I'm getting all nerdy here.
Oh,
We're
I
gonna
can't
lose
even
Dennis.
remember. It's been so long. Oh my God.
No, Landrifle. I'm sorry. That was Lord of the Rings. I was on. I don't know. Some other. It's Taromar.
Yeah, they had a
was
lot of
Taromar.
servers.
Lot
I
of
can
different
remember
servers.
looking when it became
Evercrack.
obvious that it was worth it.
Wow.
Was you would get online and there would be each server. They've got 20 servers, and this is
They would
back
all
when
be busy.
people were not paying to play games back
Yeah.
then. It was very
You just
unusual.
bought the game.
You just bought the game, and that
Yeah.
was it.
You prayed AOL like stood up long enough where
They
you could get
had
it.
5 million people on all
Yeah.
at the same time, and every one of those guys is paying $20 a month, so they were making a fortune.
Evercrack really broke the broke them all.
started
All right,
it.
well that's a whole nother. Wow, did we go off the rails?
Oh,
Me and
yeah.
you can talk.
There
all of
you
you.
go.
No, listen.
Wow, you guys went off the rails. We
A
have
lot-
2 super chats.
Oh.
Isaiah, okay, it was $4.99. It's hello, David and Dan. Finally able to catch the live show.
Fantastic. Welcome.
Christopher Trucking $2 says Denise, aka Fabio.
That's what I was saying. That's exactly. See, if I had remembered the Fabio, because he used to be on all. He was that Spanish model.
Oh yeah, I know who
Or
Fabio is.
Spanish-looking model
Absolutely.
with the
Yeah.
long hair, and I never got
On
it to be
all
honest
the
with you.
love books.
All the love books.
Yep.
Can you imagine Dennis just doing all those? Just like
You know, it may be his next career.
yeah.
You better hold on to him.
Oh God,
No?
look at him. Look at that hair. Hey, All right, there we go. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, because what were we talking about? MMOs? No, that's a whole nother. We could do a show on that. We've played a lot of MMOs.
Went off the rails.
We did. We went completely off the rails. Oh my god! But anyway, so Crapsy is evolving very quickly. That's the point. And for those of you who are on that platform or are looking, iOS is coming, and I wanna divulge so badly some of the really cool things that are coming up, but he made me swear not to because
You can't even hint.
we want to under-promise, over-deliver.
I gotcha. Okay.
And you know, sometimes
Keep
if
'em
I
in
get excited,
suspense.
keep them in suspense a little bit. But just know that a lot of really wonderful things are happening, and there's that. Okay, the other wonderful thing that's happening, I should put it out there. I was going to put some pictures up, but we have some fantastic tables. If you've been looking, excuse me, if you've been looking for a crap table, we have some crap tables coming thanks to our buddy Pitboss John. We are working in collaboration with his business, 21 Fun Night. So for those people looking to have their own business and share sort of, you know, the craps experience, the gaming experience with people that are close to you and in your neighborhood, or, you know, maybe you like to fly a plane and go to Alaska and do it. You can do whatever you want, whatever floats your boat.
Let me tell you, you want to see a conversation starter.
Yep.
Someone walks into your house and sees an entire blackjack game set up.
Yep.
We did this for years. A buddy of mine had a table, and we would hang out and play blackjack and have a few drinks. It was a lot of fun.
It is a fantastic business. Companies, so we're putting on a corporate team building exercise here in the next couple of weeks for some friends of ours, and this is a sort of part of that business. I mean, there is, you guys have all, let's say you've all played, well, not all of you, but a lot of people, they go up on blackjack table. You want to meet somebody new, go to a blackjack table.
Exactly. You're trapped there. It forces conversation.
It's you against the dealer.
Yeah, everybody loves to talk on a blackjack table.
No, 100%.
It's perfect.
You want to get a date, or, you know, I mean,
well, and team building, people that would normally never talk to each other sit down at the same blackjack table, and in 20 minutes they're best of friends. It's a great way to make people get to know each other.
100%.
Yeah.
Did I mention the dating?
Oh yeah.
Blackjack at the Tropicana, man. It was Cougar Central there when I was a kid. I got stories, dude. I got stories.
I bet.
I could go right from blackjack to the bar, and yeah. That's all I needed. Blackjack bar room. Yeah, that was fun.
How do we keep getting off of the rails?
Listen here, buddy. We're going down the slides. I got so many slides.
We're barely 15 minutes in.
I know. We're on 15. Anyways, here we go. All right, so the last thing is the party. So we're having the party. Hundreds of you have RSVP'd. So here's what we're running into. Number one is Patreon. And by the way, we classify, we love all the Patreons. There's a few of you out there that are $1 Patreons, so you have access to the chat, but that doesn't get you where you need. You know, we love you for that. But anyways, we're having a Patreon dinner, and we're gonna post that link soon. It's come down to two restaurants or two venues basically, and so we're finalizing the details on one. That's our favorite venue, and then the other, our backup venue. And we'll let you know Monday night. So we are told that they're going to get back to us by Monday, and if that works out. But otherwise, we have a backup venue, and then we'll have that information. It'll be posted on Patreon. So it's going to be Friday night, 4 p.m., and then 7 p.m. here at Casino Quest is going to be the party, the Casino Quest party. Now, the Casino Quest party, we are going to be giving out some gifts. So we have a number of things that we have brought into the store that is literally just for this party. And one of those gifts is going to get you into the dinner. So the problem with the dinner is we can only have 100 people. And it looks like we're sort of beyond that.
Way beyond that.
So I know, sir. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of other venues, and we really want Downtown Grand to be the destination. Like, this is our heart and soul is to making the Downtown Grand a thing, you know. And we love the property. It's a newly renovated property. It's just off the beaten path when you go downtown, obviously. It used to be Lady Luck, you remember?
Oh yeah, Lady Luck was here for one of the oldest casinos in town.
Yes, yeah. And it's now. It's got a wonderful hotel. The casino is mostly on the table games. The slots are open all the time. Table games are mostly weekends, and so we really want to drive business there. We want to work with them. We love Downtown Grand as a destination, and we feel like we can both do each other a great service.
A little help.
A little help. Yep.
Sure.
And so that's really the goal. But right now we're limited to 100, so we're going to have to prioritize. And then the rest of you can go, we can we can run a Taco Bell, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can go to Taco Bell. Dennis will take you over to Taco Bell.
How far is the closest Taco Bell from here?
From the downtown Grand, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, there's Taco Bells on
Everywhere.
every corner, man. Why wouldn't there be a Taco? There's Taco Bells the only way.
I digress.
Yeah. The only place that they don't have Taco Bells is in like Dennis's old neighborhood, dude.
Gotcha.
Because it's the white people that seem to love. They line up around the corner. Mexicans not so much. They love the taco trucks. We did the taco truck thing, dude. It was fantastic.
Oh,
by
let
the
me
way.
tell you, most of those are great food.
Well, we did 5. 4 were great, and 1 was a little sketchy.
Not so good.
No, Dennis will tell you. Dennis?
Well, I don't have a mic right now.
He doesn't. Oh, he's not mic'd up, folks. He's bricked up. He's not mic'd up.
I'm changing things in the
All right, he's changing things in the background. That's why he's bricked up and not mic'd up. All right. Okay, so that's the birthday bash. That's it. As soon as we get to the other side. So let's get to the show. Let's just jump right into it. Let's not digress.
Us? Never.
Never. Okay. So here's the thing. So really table games, again, like everything else with the casino, comes down to, I think, a few basic scenarios. And this is how we try to kind of narrow it down. Although, you know what, before we get there, we might have missed some ridiculous super chats. Because we have some ridiculously, what's going on? Is anything? Any questions?
I didn't hear any.
Oh, wait a minute. See what I'm saying?
There
Before we
it
get,
is.
too involved.
Someone is out there.
No.
Full access gave us $10. Says Crapsy has given me something fun to do while I'm at work. Join the fun.
While you're at work.
Yeah.
Fantastic,
Perfect.
sir.
Woohoo.
Glad to be part of your workday. Yeah, 100%. No, we love it, especially nowadays. Okay. So going back to the goals, okay, the goals is having goals is important, I think, to apply that. I mean, for some of us and most of us is just to have fun, have some hope, want to win money. But here I broke it down in a few different ways. You ready? Okay, so goals is I want to burn time. I want to grind. A lot of grinders out there, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And we're not talking like meatball subs. Let's
Let's be honest. Almost everybody that sits down on a table in Vegas is trying to play as long as they can for whatever money they have. They want to sit there.
A grinder represents literally, of all the people I've ever seen, even some of the high limit, not even some, most people I've ever seen are grinders.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even if they say, but wait, Dave, I press is still grinding.
Oh, yeah,
in many
absolutely.
cases, unless you literally push in, but we'll get to that in a minute. The third one is opportunity, and that's what we try to teach you here is how to create opportunity. We talk about all the epic stories, and everyone I know who's an opportunity player, opportunity gambler, has an epic story because they keep going for it. Grinding means nothing. Grinding is just, for me anyways, it's kind of a waste of time. I only grind when we have to fill up 4 YouTube videos. I mean, it's literally like, if we go all in and get whacked, but when I go and play my Keno or anything else on my own, I'm an opportunity player. Here's my budget, and I want to win as much as possible.
Right.
I want a game-changing story. I want to walk out literally as bricked up as possible.
You're the megabucks guy, right?
Literally. Oh,
Yeah.
megabucks, 100%.
Absolutely.
You love the use of the prolific use of bricked up in this episode. For those of you at home, Urban Dictionary.
That word to
No, we've listen. I'm tired of young people taking over all the words, dude. Every word, they have all the words. They've taken them all over.
So you're studying.
No, I'm taking one of the words.
Take 'em back.
I'm taking them back.
I got it.
I'm taking them back. Look at them all. Look at Urban Dictionary.
There's more words now.
No, I know. They come up with new words. They make this shit up as they go.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Oh crap! Did I say shit? Damn.
I think you did.
All right. Oh well. There we go. All right.
Well, we're past the 30 seconds.
All right. Opportunity. So the next thing, believe it or not, what many people forget is competition.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, I've kept poker out of this only because we shouldn't be commenting on poker. Poker is like,
It's a different animal.
it is a whole different animal, and there are people that are really, we got to have like Dave, our poker teacher, or one of his people, because they know poker.
Right.
I don't want to talk about poker because I wouldn't give poker justice.
Absolutely.
I suck at poker.
And it's definitely a specialty. I mean, it's
It
not
is a
considered
specialty.
part of the other table games. It's
No,
completely
100%.
separate. The dealers are separate. The management is separate. It's
Yeah.
just another game.
So that's actually really quickly, without it being too much of a tangent. A lot of people ask us, there's table games department and then there's poker. Poker is a table game, sort of, yes, but in the way that the casino runs it, are separate entities completely. if you can, we have people graduating from our poker class that become poker dealers at high-end properties, Venetian, Aria. We've had a few people, Venetian,
Sure.
Aria. Did I mention Venetian, Aria? Because those
Both
are
of
fantastic
Yeah.
places.
Oh yeah, those
we
are
even
the places.
and we even had a few people installed at New Orleans, the Orleans, which is considered, a fantastic poker, Santa Fe, because it's not so much that the bar is less. Like, you can go right from our school to World Series of Poker without any. We're one of the referring schools, so if we certify you, World Series of Poker will hire you without having the 6 months experience. Right. And you can go from our poker class to an Aria. Not everybody. Now, keep in mind, they're still looking for personality, skill, knowledge. The poker dealers that we have that go to these properties have played poker. They know poker. They're excited about poker. They have personalities, and they go through the course, and they're just aces. They study, they do all that stuff.
Right.
And boom, you can go right to the Venetian, because it's not like table games. Table games, you need presence. I always talk about presence on a table game. Presence is the ability to manage money and scale. The problem with you starting at Aria as a table game dealer is you would just shake so much that you would just be tapped off the game. You'd be so nervous. You wouldn't have the capacity to manage the game or the people. That's what presence is. Yes, we can sit back. I could teach you blackjack, and you can pay a $575 blackjack pretty easily out of the rack. But in a live scenario, I promise you, straight out of school, you're going to shake and you get nervous. You're not going to have control of the game. You're not going to be able to communicate with that type of player. There's all these sort of fundamentals that are applied. So when we talk about poker, now poker is just about raking a casino rake. So if you can manage the rake, you pitch and shut the hell up. You can have a smile and be friendly. But for the most part, you're just getting through hands and raking money. It doesn't require you to have, too much more presence than that, right?
Poker dealers, a lot of them don't talk that much, so it's not a hugely social. On blackjack, they really want you to talk. But on poker, these guys are thinking about their strategy. They're watching the other players. Too much conversation gets in the way of the mechanics of the game. So really, a poker dealer is just a different animal, not the same thing.
So what you're saying is David probably would be a very good poker dealer. Can you imagine me being quiet for 8 hours?
No, not at all.
No,
never.
that'd be rough. The Guinness is looking out for me, buddy. All right. So that's a different thing. So you can go from poker school to a high-end casino with the right personality, the right skill set.
Yep.
But you cannot do that. Even
No.
if you're juiced in,
No.
they can't take you and put you on these tables.
We had a few people that worked in different parts of the casino, but they were trained by the casino because of a department closing or something, and were put into table games. And it took them years to even move past the cheapest games we had. It's not something, even if you know it backwards and forwards, it still takes time. And every level you step up, when you start on a $15 game, is different than a $25 game, and a $25 game is different than a $500 game. And each level you have to learn. And when you change levels, it's just like breaking in again. So if you're a $15 dealer and you walk into $10,000 a hand, let me tell you, that it'll send you a little off.
I mean, the same thing with SR.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a big conversion. A lot of people think, well, there's just 1 0 missing, but that's not. It's not. It's played very differently.
Oh, it's a different game.
A whole
really
different
is.
animal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the types of people, the expectations, the payouts, everything. It's
and
very different.
much more serious players.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
roulette, you've got guys that are just coming out to play, and it's a fun thing.
Hang out.
On single zero, you've got guys that play this all the time, and half of them know the game better than the dealer. So you really. And when you, on regular roulette, dollar chips and nickel checks are easy. They're not that hard to work with. But when you hit the $25 level, arguably the hardest roulette game in the world to deal is a heavy $25 game, because all the numbers are weird.
Yeah. It's the same thing for craps. So craps, you have this sort of breaking level that goes all the way up to, let's say, even a Park MGM action, Bally's, Paris. But then you move to Aria, Bellagio, these kinds of places where you start dealing yellow. You start dealing $1,000 checks. Interestingly, because there is no $10 check on a table.
No.
So you could take a $5 check, make it a $500 check if you're good with math, and just start adding zeros. But when you get to the $10 checks, in fact, a lot of dealers, the minute they move to purples or $500 checks, they start having issues with how that cuts out, what to look at, how it looks like as a payoff on a crap table. And then once they get to yellows, it changes the dynamic, because now this is a $10 check with zeros. You follow? You've never presented the bet that way. With a $1,200 bet, instead of a $12 bet is 2 red, 2 white, right? Or 2 red, 2 gray, whatever you use for dollars. A $1,200 bet at with a yellow player or a $1,000 player is 1 check with two checks for caps. You follow? So the bet starts looking different. The cutouts are different.
Which means all those formulas you have carefully figured out, where you cut in once and then add the amount and things like that, don't work anymore.
That's it.
So these things that you've been trained to do for years and years, all of a sudden, and that you come to this understanding while you've got a guy playing $10,000 right in front of you, and you're trying to figure it out.
And you get nervous because you don't have the security, you don't have the confidence. You lose confidence in yourself, and then you start to shake, and it happens to everybody. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and they'll tap you out, and you just won't deal the action.
I still remember my first spin on a single zero roulette table. I'm at this casino. I've been dealing roulette now 6 years, 6 years. And I went in right away and managed to squirm my way into learning the single zero. And I'm on a game, and I hit $200 straight up. Now today I look at that, I don't even think about it. It's $7,000. You get a stack of $100 checks, which is $2,000, and you put a $5,000 check on it. Really easy. Well, the day I hit it, my mucker, the guy that was helping me, was an expert dealer, and he was annoyed that I was in there as an amateur taking one of the spots from guys that knew this game. So when I hit it, he slid the stack of blackout to me and just stood there and looked at me. And I'd never even touched a $5,000 chip. And I was trying to figure out what to add to 20 chips that would make 7,000, and I just could not come. I looked like an idiot.
Wow.
I froze. The floorman had to lean over and said, "Stick a white on it and push it out."
Wow.
Oh, it was so funny.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. I mean, a lot of us, I think becomes a turning point. Like, I remember the first time I got 800 across. And interestingly, because I dealt a bird game, 25-cent game, a friend of mine, Leonard, who's actually he's in your class.
Oh yeah, Leonard's a great guy.
I broke in with him in '91. He's one of the first dealers I remember at the gate. And we were talking about how that bird game, that 25-cent game, translates to the high end. But you miss that now because you go right to $5 tables or $10 tables. You don't know those. When I say bird game, 25 cent. So 25-cent table back in the day, you had a $6.50, $6.75, $8 across, which is also the same as 800 across.
Yeah.
You follow? And so it dawned on me. Someone had told me, "Hey, that's like $8 across," and and this was back at a time when birds or 25-cent tables were still around.
Right.
And they knew I had been a bird dealer, and I'm like, "Oh my God, there you go. Add a couple of zeros. That's what I'm at." But I remember trying to set it up, and I set it up at first in green, and because I was awkward with the units. I mean, this was clearly a black player, someone betting in $100 increments.
And you don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, and because their expectations higher.
Yep.
And these are the people that that also makes you a bit nervous because high limit players tend to have higher expectations.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you're Dave Thomas,
it can
you're
be
Dave Thomas.
really intimidating.
Can we talk shit about Dave Thomas?
Oh my God, I've seen people do what you were talking about a million times on a game. Yeah,
dude. Someone came to the so we had a group that came out here just the other day, and they did dice with David, and we worked on a few different strategies. They had some questions, but mostly they just wanted stories.
Right.
So they wanted what my favorite stories were. They wanted to hear it. Of course, the Dave Thomas special. We'll have to get back to that. If anybody asks for it later, maybe we'll get to it. But let's move on from this. We got to get to this show on the road. Okay, we got to know yourself. So the next slide is the know yourself one. Oh, there you go. Fantastic. So this is how I've sort of broken it down, right? So this is kind of the understanding, and I promise you that knowledge is empowerment, especially if because we're building. This is building up to literally Dennis's birthday. And we've had these conversations about, a lot of people get to 21 and they literally go off the rails.
Right.
Vegas is excess. You could gamble your ass off. You could drink your ass off. You could, can I say, get bricked up? What is the word for being bricked up all the time? Is that Viagra? Is that what that is? Anyway.
Yeah, no, that would keep you bricked up all the time.
Yeah, okay. So this is a town of excess.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I
Yep.
mean, and so it's easy to get buried.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like if you come into it knowing
A little
yourself
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I had some parents bring a kid to the school the other day, and their son is only like 19 or something like this. And they were asking me about, they want to leave their son here, which is fine. And their son, they were talking about, okay, what is the biggest quality? What is the one thing I would want to know? And I would be like, well, know your, limitations. Like what, if your son is addicted to drugs, that
You might not want to introduce him to
no,
gambling.
to gambling, you know what I'm saying? But their son was, very mindful,
Good
was,
kid,
good
yeah.
kid, and had straight A's, stuff like this. Because you got to come to Vegas, you got to come with a plan. Not 6 months ago, we had a kid come out here shortly after the pandemic, signed up for all the games. We had been talking, and he was ready to go. He came from another state. Half of our schools from another state.
Right.
I told him, get 3 months of bills on top of whatever you're going to pay the school, right? But 3 months of bills, rent, utilities, everything else. He said he was completely squared away, right?
Right.
2 days, maybe 3 days later, he literally walked into
He's
school
got
with
no money.
with crap in his hair. Like he had literally woken up in some gutter, in some alley. He was broke.
Yep.
He needed the money back. He needed to get a refund back from the school to go home. Vegas had put a
That's
fork in
so
him.
funny.
Dude, 2 or 3 days. This is not the first time, by the way. This has happened before. Mm-hmm. You follow?
It doesn't matter how much money you have. They will take every penny. If you've got more money than you've ever had in your life, don't come to Vegas. Don't come here. Don't do that.
You have to have the right mentality.
You do.
This
You
is a great
absolutely
place
do.
with the right mentality.
It is. It can
really
be
is.
the most fun you can
Yep.
have
Yep.
for a small amount of money. You can sit for $100. You can play for a couple of hours if you're careful and you husband the money and have a great time. I mean, it's some of the most fun you can have. You're drinking, you're talking to people you barely know from all over the world. They're
Yep.
interesting. There's all kinds of interesting things going around you. But let me tell you, when that goes bad and you have spent every penny you've ever earned in your entire life and you're sitting
Yeah.
there looking at a 16, life goes bad. It
Yeah,
really
life goes
does.
bad. This poor kid, dude, Vegas whacked him.
I have seen
In
that.
3 days.
Uh-huh.
I even talked to him before
3
he
days
started
is
the school.
pretty good.
I'm pretty sure it was 3. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's funny.
It might have been 2, but I think it was 3. I was so stunned because he hadn't even bothered to comb his hair. Like there was literally a leaf or something in his head. Like he had literally rolled out. I think you know what
I've
I
had
actually
that
think?
guy on my game.
I think he waited until we opened. I think he had slept
Just
in the back
standing out
alley or
there.
something. He was
Oh, my
waiting till
God.
we opened, and I gave him his. But I felt
He
so bad.
probably couldn't get home.
I don't think so. I think, and I felt so bad. I gave him normally we have like a week or two to write the check. Actually,
Right.
we have technically 2 weeks, but I was like, dude,
Here.
here, this is a Greyhound ticket, and I've actually dropped someone off at a bus stop. Believe it or not, I have taken someone. They ended up homeless inside of 2 weeks, and I've dropped. And I'm saying this because again, David doesn't have a filter. I
Right.
want you to know. I don't want you to come to Vegas with no plan. Come here with a plan.
And you've got to be disciplined. You can't just run out and drop into the lifestyle and think that you're going to be okay. Look, none of us that are looking to be dealers are going to be wealthy. We don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And if you get into the lifestyle and start gambling and drinking, I know dealers that make $100,000 a year and live in a tiny apartment, don't own cars, and
Yep.
all they do with their entire life is sit and gamble on
Ugh.
games, and it's the worst. There is no quality to life. There's nothing they've earned have helped them. It's all negative. And if you live like that in Vegas, it will get you.
I know
Absolutely.
a girl who, and I only know this lady because she's always on my damn Keno machine that I love, and she is just buried. She's a dealer. She's a casino dealer at a high-end casino, and I mean you could just see her. She's just completely invested in this machine. I can't even begin. She's a dollar. She plays dollars at scale on these video poker machines or these, and it's a ton of money.
Yeah,
If you-
yeah.
To play hours every day
On
she's
dollar
probably out
machine?
100. She works for free.
Right.
I've
Yeah.
heard her hitting $10,000 or more, and that's nothing when you're at that level.
Nope.
I know a famous poker player out here, famous. His brother worked for me as a ref.
Right.
Those of you who know me know who this is. He actually won the World Series of Poker one year.
Oh, wow.
And here's a story. I don't want to give out the name. I might give out the name later. Let's just say really smart guy.
Okay.
He's known for playing high limit slots. He was stuck at the Cosmo one time, hundreds of thousands of dollars, until he hit a machine for hundreds of thousands of dollars. But in the end, he
just
didn't
got
win any
even.
money. Yeah, he just got even.
Nobody wins lifetime on these kind of games. It doesn't happen.
His brother was a ref for me, worked for the league that I managed, and we owed his brother $200 for reffing these 2 games. That was it.
Right.
We played $100 for like 6 hours, something like this,
Sure.
right, as a ref. And guess who came collecting? This is the only reason I know. Now, why is somebody who won the World Series of Poker collecting $200 at my little rinky-dink office right up on West Sahara?
Tells you everything you need to know.
I heard stories. So I asked around a little bit, and all secondhand. But I heard stories about just being buried, being in debt, overextending, because they came into a lot of money all at once, and then they never saw that success again. And there are some poker players, not all, some of the top poker players have a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah,
live in the nicest
but
houses.
these are
the big,
disciplined people that don't waste. They we're gambling. They're not really gambling. They're at a skill-based occupation.
Some of them are gambling.
Yeah, you are gambling, but it's skill-based, and so they have a reasonable expectation of an upside.
Right.
Whereas on table games, let's be honest, you're going to win money, you're going to lose money. It's about having a good time. And if you're there to make a fortune, you're not going to have a happy experience.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that.
The martingale blackjack table is just not the way to go. All right. So
Really quickly, before you go
what
too
happened?
far.
What do you got?
Allison has been a member for 8 months. She used that to send a chat over. She said, speaking of Keno, David, when are you going to do some Keno videos?
We have been waiting for Dennis, and so Dennis turns 21 soon, if you haven't heard, and Jet. And we're going to be able to go out. So we have a couple different casinos lined up, ready to go for Keno, and we've been waiting for that. I'll be honest with you. I play Keno, and I've won some hands, and I have them recorded. But I boomerfied myself. I did it the wrong, whatever. But I don't like to, believe it or not, I don't like to talk to myself. And so if I have to go now, because we actually don't have a camera person over 21. We have all these young people.
We do.
We do? Well, we
Brandon.
sort of do. We have Brandon. We do have a guy who we're moving up. But I would literally have to go out and just talk to myself. And as much fun as that could be for those around me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. I've been waiting for Dennis. We do have one in the can of me training. Don't we have one in the can of we've been so incredibly busy lately. It's been unbelievable. Like quite literally during the day, we get hundreds of it's been amazing that you guys will come out and it's been epic. We have 200 forward. We have days now where we're sold out here at Casino Quest.
Wow. Unbelievable.
We have been, if you can hear it right now.
How many
we're
times
busy.
have you heard that this idea won't work?
No, hundreds of times.
Hundreds of
you have no
times,
idea.
yeah.
I mean, coming out of COVID, there was a time when we had all of 0 reservations. And then we had a period of time where we had an average of around 40, 50. When we came out of COVID, for a minute when they got rid of the mask, we got to 127 forward reservations, and then that got whacked because the mask came back. People were like, screw it. A lot of people canceled. And now it's just been literally gangbusters. Even our retail part of it, we have people now that are coming by. They're buying chips. They're buying, we're sold out of our craps layouts. We have 15 on the way in. So if you're waiting on a practice kit or a craps layout, the professional ones that we've been getting produced, those are going to be in the store, I think, by Monday or Tuesday. So they were just shipped out. But, it's been a tremendous thing, I have to tell you. By the way, before oh God, I'm so tangent. We have some really good news coming from the school. We have a few casinos on the Strip that are going to be working with us to train, upgrade their dealers, move people from back of the house to front of the house, and open up positions that'll be made available to us. We are going to be, this location may be used by a big flipping casino to audition dealers incoming. So we'll have those news later. All right. Anything else?
Oh, we do.
Was that the Keno answer? But where is that one in the can? Didn't we do that one?
Yeah, it's going to come out this Wednesday. Thursday?
Wednesday? A Keno one?
Wednesday, Thursday.
Ah, there you go. You heard it here.
Okay.
I knew I did one. I just,
We have a $5 super chat from Derek. Says, does Daniel know about David's girlfriend named Jasmine?
Oh my God, he's such a
No,
little
he
bit.
does
And does he
not.
know the story of how they met?
No.
Does Derek know that Jasmine is a restaurant in town that he has to like? We're gonna go on a date, buddy. Okay. Me and Derek, we're gonna go over to eat at Jasmine. It's at the Bellagio. I love Jasmine.
Okay.
Is it still open?
Yeah, it's
Did it get whacked? No, it's still open.
Mm-hmm.
It got whacked for a second. But
It did
came
get
back.
whacked for a second. It's an Asian. It's like an Asian fusion. I think it tries to be more Thai than Chinese, but you do this around the world thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so Jasmine is basically, apparently I had a fan during COVID when we were shut down.
Sure.
Derek goes way back with us, dude. Like back to the beginning of time. I think before Dennis was born even. And he was one of our original OG fans.
Right.
He was with us when we were just we put Post-it notes on a crap table and we were just dealing. That was the beginning of the channel basically.
Wow.
Besides
That's
after
funny.
after COVID came.
I'm gonna have to go look at some of
You
those
have to check that
videos.
out. So we played it live, and he was one of our players. And there was a fan whose name happened to be Jasmine, and she was a little overzealous. I would say a little. I think a little, right? I think our staff spared me some of the silliness, but I guess she was really, really a fan.
Wow.
And so apparently somehow Jasmine and Seven became synonymous with each other on a craps game. So like they kept referring it to Jasmine out, this kind of thing. So there you go.
Wow.
And of course,
But you never met this
Derek
person.
is the biggest Jasmine, huh?
You never met Jasmine.
No, I have no idea. I don't know if it was a
idea.
girl, if I was. What's that word about being black something or gaslight? Is that gaslighting or gaslighting?
Oh, you've been gaslit?
Could be a
Catfish.
cat. I mean, you know what I mean?
Catfish.
Catfish?
Yeah, that's
Or
that
cat-
show they do.
No,
right?
it's
There you go.
anyways.
Where
they
it could be
change
Derek.
their
You know,
identity.
it might actually be Derek, dude. Derek's other personality. You never know.
Well, one more thing.
Yes.
Michael Fritz, who has been a member for 16 months.
Yeah,
says,
forever, Michael. How you doing, buddy?
says turning 21 videos are going to be a mess. Treat those kids right. Lol. We'll probably be fine. Me and
Nah, they're
Jed,
gonna be right.
choose work.
And
over
just so
everything
we're
else.
clear, you know, when we say, you know, Dennis is a fine young man. Mm-hmm. I don't want him just getting, you know, whacked. You know, I know there's a lot of people who's going to be looking for, you know, a lot of chugging, alcohol. This is about, you know, we're going to have a great night out.
Yeah, and you should not be ripped drunk
Yeah.
and try to play
We need
these
him
games.
standing up, talking, communicating. He's got to last throughout the whole weekend. All right.
It is a work thing.
Yeah. No, it is a work day. Yeah. We don't need to get too silly.
Nope.
Okay. So are we gonna get back to this slide? We're gonna start this out. What do you think?
Are we
Good?
still on Know Yourself?
Yeah, we're still on Know Yourself, buddy. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the breaks down. Know Yourself. Cash only. Dude,
Yeah, don't bring
cash.
credit. Don't bring your credit cards to the casino.
Even if the table has a credit card buy-in thing.
No.
Oof, God. Plus, by the way, you know that if you get cash on your card, that's the highest percentage paybacks you have on your credit card. In fact, they enumerate that separately.
Right.
Because I've done that. I've
it's a
done the
lot.
cash out, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like, okay, you paid your credit card payment, but your cash payment, it's like, holy crap.
Right. Bring your money ahead of time. Don't get your money out of the ATMs in the casino. They're outrageously expensive.
Dude, $15.
Take
There's one
the
out there
cab
charges
ride
$15.
to your bank in town. Get your money out that you're going to play. Know what you're going to play. Stick to a budget, and you'll have a good time. Walk into a casino with every credit card you've got, and you're going to have a bad day.
I mean, 100%. Unless you have self-control and you know that's not a thing, then
Right.
you know it's not a big deal. But okay, I talk about organize your buy-in, and you know on craps, of course, play in the rack.
The other one's upgrade the wins.
Upgrade the wins. Have an exit strategy. When to walk. Right.
How much is enough?
How much is enough? When do you want to win? You can't just keep playing for the feeling. The tingles will get you literally broke every time.
Every time you stay long enough, it
Yep.
doesn't matter how lucky you are.
Yeah.
Stay. I saw a guy over a few days win millions of dollars, and he sat there a few days too long, and it all went back. So you got to stop. Stop.
Yeah.
If you're buying $100 and you've got 200, how much do you really realistically think you're going to win on $100?
And it goes without saying, you know, doing alcohol. I mean, if you can manage your alcohol and it doesn't take away, but I think for most people it loosens you up. A casino knows it. That's why they serve it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Free alcohol. Mm-hmm. Free.
But, you know, the casinos, they manage this alcohol very carefully. Everybody's always asking for the cocktail waitress to come around more. Listen, there's a reason she comes around every half an hour. If they came around more often, we would have a casino so drunk they couldn't see what they're doing.
No, we don't want you on the floor. We want you buying in.
Yeah, they're trying to control it.
You just need a little tilt.
Yes.
For a lot of tilt.
Exactly.
They know what they're doing, dude. They know 100%. Okay. I think when to walk is a good thing. I get asked that a lot, like, you know, what's the win? Well, know the win, whatever the win is.
Make that decision before you sit on the table.
That's it.
Know what you're going to leave with. If you get there, get up.
Yep. I used to not do that because for me it was tingles. I would just the tingles of winning for me was so big.
Yeah.
And I would think of myself, so like I remember one time I was at the end of this. I believe it or not, I was on the wrong side of the game, and I was playing quarters, but I was at the end of this hand. It was like 40-minute hand. But I started out on the don'ts. I was grinding a don't play.
Right.
And I had been there for like 6 hours, and then, you know, some dude steps up, rolls this monster hand, whacks all that effort I put in.
You lose it in a minute.
I was playing there with a friend of mine. We moved to the pass line. We moved to the place bets. It was before I sort of had worked out my own strategies, but I was like, so I ended up winning, you know, not a lot of money, $300-400, whatever.
You got away with your skin, really.
And of course now I'm thinking, table's hot. Next shooter's gonna be so hot, and it's not. You know what I mean? It means nothing.
Nothing.
The next shooter 0.7, next shooter 0.7.
The most important thing you can remember about craps and roulette, primarily, is that they are rules of independent decisions. So no roll on the dice has any bearing on the next roll.
Yeah.
They're all independent. So you've got this, even if it's been 50 times in a row, doesn't mean it's going to be 51. You have no idea. It's still the same chance.
Yeah. So that's the thing. A lot of people talk about, you know, choppy tables, hot tables, cold tables. The truth is it could go every way and backwards all the time.
And you never know when it's going to happen.
No, that's 100%. I mean, I've been on machines where I play and I'm like, okay, this machine is so hot, it's gonna hit,
it's hot.
and then I chase it, and then I get on a coal machine that doesn't pay me for the first $90, and then bam, I hit something
royal.
big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it means nothing.
It means nothing.
It means nothing. Yeah.
And the algorithms are set up on that way on purpose.
They love it.
Oh yeah.
They love it. Oh God.
Keep you grasping after that win. You know.
Well, we have 2 more super chats.
Oh, fantastic! We love those.
Danny
Yes,
says,
sir.
if he has time, can David explain how the odds on craps works?
We can actually. We're gonna get to the tables here in a minute, and we're gonna go through the general overview. And I think that if we run out of time, I would like to do the deep dive, sort of the expert gambler show. But I feel like, you know, for right now, we're really just introducing all the basic mechanics of being a gambler, being introduced to the games without you having come. So we're, you know, I'm obviously a pseudo expert in craps.
He's the man.
And Daniel, of course, is roulette and single zero roulette. And between the both of us, there's not much else to know about blackjack, to be honest with you, and Pai Gow, those other games. We're going to get but that's okay. So the next part of it is breaking down the basic table games. So
one more super chat.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Derek, $5, says, sorry, David, but Dennis and Jet will be drunk and dancing on the crap trail when I'm done with it.
Derek, hey, Derek. Did you see our new polo? This is a brand new, the gold and black. We have these. We have T-shirts. We have these in. These fit. These are peak, like P-I or peaked, P-I-Q-U-E-D, something like this. But they don't. They go over nice. No matter, you know, if you get a little belly, like I got a little belly now, it goes over nice. You know what I mean? Of course, it's mostly abs, right?
Don't
right,
listen
Dennis?
to him.
It's
He's
abs.
lean as hell.
Yeah, I know. We're getting ripped, dude.
He's got no belly.
Me, Dennis, and Jed have been going to the gym. We're getting ripped. What do you think, buddy? Huh?
This is very true. Very true.
His Dennis's abs have abs, dude.
Wow.
If you
Youth
whack him in the
does
stomach,
it every time.
Yeah, no, being youthful. Oh God. Okay, ready? Okay, so let's look at the table game. So we're gonna divide this. So for some of you that are looking to become dealers yourself, you should know that there's four. Look at 4 main
Get them
games.
all out there.
4 main games, and then there's the other games, okay? So the 4 main games in the casino are considered blackjack, craps, roulette, and baccarat, okay? Blackjack, what did I say? Blackjack, craps, roulette, and baccarat. Now, blackjack comes in lots of varieties now, side bets and everything else. We'll get to that in a minute. Roulette, of course, upgrades to single zero as an elite sort of high limit game. You won't see single zero on a normal casino floor here in Vegas. There are entire casinos in Europe where that's all it is
Right.
a bunch of single zero. That's different.
As many blackjack games as we
There's
have, they
single
would
zero.
have single
So
zero.
in Europe's single zero, big. It's played on a whole another level, and we're gonna go into that in a minute. But I'd like to get you guys excited. Because when I learned about single zero as a younger person, I was always so enthralled because everyone was like, oh yeah, it's just as tough as craps. And I was like, what do you mean? I know the toughest game in the casino. That's why I'm valuable. They're like, well, sort of. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then there's single zero. Okay, but then there's, besides that, then there's Baccarat. Now, Baccarat has two parts of it. Really, there's three types of Baccarat games, basically. There is easy Bac or mini Bac, which is most of the Baccarat that you see played out of the casino today. And that's where players are shown the cards. They're not given the cards. And there's different variations. There's a commission-based Baccarat, and then there's a non-commission-based Baccarat as well. Then there's what they call mediate Baccarat. And it's an important distinction. The big distinction is that the player gets to look at the cards and they can throw the cards in, turn them over. But the rules are the same, other than the fact that there's some more presence. There's protocols that are involved between the player. The cards are ripped up. There's a few different nuances that are played out with midi Baccarat. And now midi Baccarat is usually reserved for higher limit play. Okay, so for higher limit play, you'll most likely see MIDI in a high limit room, okay, along with SR. Then you have big Baccarat. Big Baccarat is where you might have seen on the James Bond movies in Europe, where they use a paddle to move these large checks. There's a guy in a high chair looking over. Now, big Baccarat was big back in the day in the 90s here in Vegas, and interestingly, Vegas used to put out their Baccarat win. So all of the big Baccarat rooms would say, hey, we clobbered we made like millions of dollars, supporting all this big Baccarat play. You don't hear that number now because a lot of those players are no longer a thing. And most of Big Bac has been retired. There's no active Big Bac tables that I know of. I've heard that the mansion might still have a Big Bac.
Doesn't Bellagio still have big Baccarat?
Maybe.
No, I think it does.
It does? Okay, well, because I've heard, and this is a new...
But again, it's going to be in the high limit room.
It's going to be
kind
high
of private.
limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be private.
These guys are wearing tuxedos. This is the cream of the crop. If you're talking about the top level of the gaming industry, a high-end Baccarat dealer, let me tell you, these guys are incredible. One time when I was at the Mirage, when I was at Treasure Island, we had trouble with the parking, and they were moving us in a bus, and I ended up on a bus full of the Baccarat dealers from the Mirage at the time. And these were some of the smoothest talkers you ever met. Every single one of them could lay down a conversation and keep you interested. It was fascinating to watch these guys.
No, they have presence on a whole nother level. By the way, those used to be the biggest jobs in town. So they kept their own tips because they were their own reality. They had to deal action on a whole nother level, have these relationships. They had to keep everything very secret. Casinos did not want these dealers talking about the play, talking about the players. For example, when I worked at the Rio, we had a lot of high limit players. We had Larry Flint come in.
Oh yeah,
and Larry Flint's brother was there, and there was a famous story. The Rio, some Rio dealer let it out, a high limit dealer, that they were late picking up, Larry Flint's brother's girlfriend. And Rio gave her this really expensive necklace to make up for it. I mean, apparently her limo was like an hour late because, God forbid.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't you hate it when your limo shows up an hour late?
I have that problem at least once a week.
And so they gave her this really outrageously expensive necklace. And it made the news, and everybody's like, oh, my God, how could you let that out?
But that's because people don't understand what's going on. Listen, a $50,000 necklace compared to what this guy's going to lose over his career gambling is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. And if they want to keep somebody sweet, let me tell you, they'll make it sweet.
Larry Flint's brother was not known to be a big winner. And he would always get a few extra million from Larry. That was how it went, supposedly.
Yeah.
And so they were happy to give away $50,000 to get that $1 million.
Sure.
Is
that what the necklace cost? 50 grand?
I've heard 50 to 150.
I believe it.
It was diamond necklace.
Listen,
and it was just a girlfriend too. Isn't that something?
Christmas time, at a lot of the casinos, they have little booths set up, and the players can come and spend the points they've earned all the year on different types of special Christmas presents.
Like a
and
kissing
things.
booth, sir?
Well,
what kind
like
of booth are we talking
cars
about?
and jewelry and
Yeah.
really anything you can imagine. And let me tell you, some of
Big.
these guys get
Cruises, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
I know Caesars used to give out. They used to have like a cruise ship of their own. They used to give out stays too.
Oh yeah,
for their
but
big
that
play.
was a little different. They were bringing gamblers in, so the cruise was free. But listen, everybody that was on that cruise was a big gambler.
I can tell you one of these days I'll share some stories. I actually lived near a Baccarat dealer at Palace Court. In fact, we have a celebrity Baccarat dealer sort of in Alex Kim's mom. Hi, Mom.
Very nice.
Mama Kim worked at Baccarat, which is considered one of the best jobs in town.
yeah.
When they used to keep their own toques. And there are some famous stories about them getting the entire cars, like cars for everybody.
Not even weird.
No, yeah, it's just so like the Desert Inn, Baccarat. But anyway, we digress. Oh my God, we're going off the rails here. Dude.
Off the rails.
All right, so
Quickly,
go
Christopher
ahead.
Bird Trucking Game was $2 super chat.
Hope.
Says, what games are pants optional?
The pool games. You
Yeah,
can
the
go
games
play
in
in
the
the
pool.
pool.
No, 100%.
Yep.
Anybody
In
that used
fact,
to
a
be-
lot of them are shirt options, so you'll see
Yeah.
amazing things out there. Let me tell you.
And so interestingly, they have butlered games where I'm assuming you might be able to go pants optional.
I've seen people playing in bathrobes, a whole table
Yeah.
sitting there in bathrobes.
Yeah. So that's actually a thing. You can go to the Nugget, has blackjack out on the pool with basically what model dealers essentially.
Beautiful girls.
They used to have
Yep.
a floating craps table at the Tropicana. I would have loved. God, I
That
wanted
would
to
be.
deal that game.
I would have loved to have played on it one time. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Can you imagine how ridiculous? Because you're getting water on the layout at
On
some
everything,
point, right?
Yeah, they
Everything's
got
gonna
the
have
plastic
water.
cards. It's all made
Everything,
to be in the
yeah.
pool. You know.
And there are limitations now as to where the games can go. Someone asked us to move. They wanted a poker table moved out. We can't do that. We can't bring a poker table into a room. You have to. We have like a fun night company that might be able to do something like that. But as a school, I don't know. It's not something that we will entertain. But the casinos, it's a very structured thing where they can move tables and how they can move tables. You know what I mean? They can't just like bring a table up to your room because
Right.
you want a private game. They can't run tables like that.
Cannot
because
do that.
you don't
In fact,
have
that's specifically against the law.
you don't have surveillance, supervision. There's all these things that are sort of
Plus,
counter to that.
everybody has to have access. Any game that's a live gaming table has to have access to it. So the public has to be able to walk in and look at what's
Yeah.
going on, and you can't do that in a private room.
Yeah, so completely pants optional. But Alex has a story about a pants optional player who was a I wouldn't say pants optional so much as someone else visiting their pants optional kind of thing. But in a high limit room, they let this guy get away with murder.
I could
wouldn't
see
say
that.
murder, but he had a big belly, and the belly hit a lot. You couldn't see the action directly, but you knew what was going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So interestingly, there you go.
The truth
okay.
is, you don't see that much in the regular world. All of that goes on, but it's a little more private.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, if you're gonna have a shit ton of money, you might as well do it.
Oh yeah.
Without
but
your
I've
pants on.
definitely had a working girl hanging out at the game with five big high roller players, and
Oh.
she was, she knew the rules. There are rules that everybody has to follow, and if the working girls follow the rules and do what
Yeah.
they're supposed to, then they end up at the game and they're part of the fun and the color, and
They get to go up the elevator for $1,000.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
fantastic. That's my next life. Okay. So then there's of course the carnival games. So 4 main games: blackjack, craps, roulette, bach, and then there's the carnival games. Pai Gow is considered the number one. It's pretty much everywhere because it's kind of unlicensed. Everyone can have a Pai Gow game. From there you have Ultimate Texas Hold'em. And then we say like 3-card flush. There's quite a few games competing for the Ultimate Texas Hold'em is probably one of the more popular carnival games. But there's quite a few now. There's War in some places.
They're all really just variations on the poker
There's
game.
some type of poker.
Yeah.
Essentially, how poker. In fact, if you go to G2E, it's literally like they should have just one hallway dedicated to poker variant carnival
Don't
games.
be fooled. If a carnival game says $15 on it, it is not a $15 game. You can't even play for $15 and enjoy it. So if you're going to sit down on a carnival game, you want a little bit extra money and be willing to listen to the dealer and learn the game. They're a little more complicated. It's not like blackjack. Blackjack's simple. Anybody can sit down, play a blackjack game, and enjoy it. on the carnival games, it's a little more complicated, and you need more money to do it.
But by the way, if you are interested in playing a carnival game, those dealers are specifically instructed to provide education.
Oh yeah.
Their goal is, you walk up and you see a new game. No one's expecting you to know how to play that game, by osmosis or something. You're expected to ask, and the dealers are there literally to tell you.
And they've done it 100 times.
Yeah.
They know just what to say, just how to explain it. It's what they're there for.
But I would suggest that, just like Dan said, ask them, how much do I need to bet to get all the best bets on this board? Because a lot of times you'll see circles everywhere.
Right.
And you need, let's say you need a minimum bet of 15 here, but you only need 5 on the other circles, or or one you need a matching bet, so it can get expensive.
So a $15 game really turns into a $25 game on a lot of these, and you have to play it or you don't get access to certain bets and things like that.
So a lot of these carnival bets are really built around the carnival, the sensation of the side bets and all these other exciting bets. We have a table layout, and the best bets are not the flat bet, it's the bonus bets.
The odds,
the odds, playing the odds. That's really the only way to make money on that game.
We get people that will sit and just play the ante and that type thing, and they don't realize that's the worst part of the game. What you really want to be playing are the ones that pay 100 to 1, 50 to 1, things like that.
Because Let It Ride, it was always about getting the royal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You wanted to bet the side bet, essentially. That was the only point in playing.
You sit there without the side bets, you're giving away the best part of the game.
No, you just screwed all day.
And that's another thing. On these games, it's about longevity. So on these poker games, it's not like blackjack where you're going to win half the games. You're going to lose for 20 minutes straight on these games. But the fun part is that every once in a while, you end up with a 4 of a kind or something like that, and it pays enough odds that you make up everything you lost. So not only do you need enough money to sit down in the beginning, you need enough money to stay there for a while to get to that winning hand. And if you only sit down with $50, you're not going to get to that winning hand, and it's just like giving the money away. So definitely.
100%. Yeah, you got to be in there for the long game. So you got to have some longevity.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be a premature player. You know what I mean? You want to be there for the long game. That 4-hour experience that they tell you to report to a doctor right away. You know what I'm saying? That rare in the zone, out of the zone, break down. You know what I'm talking about. That's the warning they have. You know what I mean? If God forbid, 4 hours. Okay, anyways. So here, we're going to get to the first game and the first slide. You ready? It's blackjack. We're going to start with the easy one. We're going to get this out of the way real quickly. So here's what I will tell you about blackjack. You want to find 3 to 2 tables. If you're playing on 6 to 5 tables, then you're there for the dancing. You're there for entertainment.
You're there because you want to play a $15 game.
Or you're at a casino that's just screwing you over, dude.
Right.
Because if they're not providing some TNA with your cards, there's not a lot of other bonuses there to be played off. Okay, because at 6 to 5, you're kind of just throwing in the towel. You know what I mean? You're getting hurt. It's hard to beat a 6 to 5 game. It's hard enough a 3 to 2 game. The next thing is the side bets. The side bets are there. I will say this. The one side bet I like on blackjack tables is the one where it's a big fat progressive for $1.
Right.
Or some low amount. Mm-hmm. I love it how they've lured us into these $5 or higher progressives now. You got to have there's one of them where it's $1 for the low jackpot, and then it's $5 for the jackpot that's through the roof. Of course you want to bet the $5 one, but
plays 5,
but it's a fight. You know what I mean? It just seems like I'm gonna chasing that 1 in a million shot. I might as well go play slots, dude.
Right,
or Keno.
for $5 a hand.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not chasing that. With the $1, I'm gonna chase all day long. Now there's a couple side bets that I don't mind so much that are fun. But again, it's one of those things where if you're playing for time or grinding, if you call it a fun bet, it's probably not the best bet for you. Because it's just fun.
Side bets are there to make up the percentage for the casino. So on a $10 or a $15 game, it's actually more expensive to provide the game and the casino and the drinks than they make on the game on a $10 game. I've seen these numbers worked out, and it's definitely true. So how they kind of make up that edge is they offer all of these side bets, and they're you don't have to play them, so you can sit down and play the pure game. But because they're there, people play them, and most of them are not as good a percentage as a pure blackjack game. So you're losing a bit when you play them. And as a general rule, the more obvious a bet is, the less less good the bet is. On a craps game, if you're going to play the hard ways, they're big, they're right out in the middle of the craps
and
game.
they're lit up.
Yeah, they're lit up, they're beautiful.
And you got a guy, talking about them, promoting them while you're playing.
Why?
I mean, that should be a sign.
That should be a sign.
Yeah,
So side
we'll
bets
talk
are
about
there
that in a minute.
for fun. They're not there to enhance or make you win. They're really,
All right, so let's talk. So there's the side bets. Progressives, I don't mind playing for progressives. If it's a big fat progressive, I don't need to put in a whole lot of money. The other thing is we were talking about surrender. So surrender rules can vary. Not all casinos offer surrender.
Oh, yeah, very
enough.
few. And it's funny, very few players will surrender.
Even know. First of all, very few people even know what surrender is. Tell them what surrender is, sir. Give them a...
Surrender is when you have a hand you don't want to take a card on, you can give up half of your money and continue, and you're out of the hand. So if you got a $25 bet, you're going to lose $12.50. You're going to get the other back, and you're done. You don't have to take that card. And for some reason, people have this moral feeling about surrender, like it's the worst thing to do, and blah blah blah. Listen, it's a tool in your bag. There are times that surrendering is advantageous. Use them. Simple.
So surrender. So here is what basic strategy calls for. You surrender if you have a 16 against a 9, 10, or ace, or a 15 against any 10. Those are the two. Those are the two surrendering.
Surrender it. Yep.
If you can't surrender. That's part of basic strategy. Some casinos don't offer it. The other one is even money, getting even money on a blackjack. It's a terrible thing to do, by the way.
Well, now that's not entirely true.
Oh, no wonder I keep losing. All right, good. Go.
Okay, so blackjack is insurance. Taking even money is exactly the same thing as taking insurance, and the odds all apply. So as a whole, insurance is not a good idea. You're paying too much for it. The odds don't quite work out, so you're better off just to play the hand and hope. But on a 6-5 game, the money that you get from your blackjack is not as much. And if you're at certain casinos, like all the MGM properties, they'll allow you to surrender on a 6-5 game. So, not surrender, take even money.
On a 6-5 game.
On a 6-5 game. So
wow.
You're really only paying a few dollars to get your whole money. It's a great deal, and the odds
on a 6-5 game.
On a 6-5 game.
Not on a 32
So
game.
on any 6-5 game, if you're offered insurance, take it. Take it. It's a deal. They're giving you money for free. Really, honestly, it's probably the only bet in Vegas that you always have an advantage on. It's like a gift from the casino.
By the way, and if you go to a casino and the hotter the girls are dealing to you, the worse your odds are. There's an even money, but there's even money blackjack tables.
Oh my goodness.
There's even money blackjack. I swear to God.
I'll bet those are some pretty girls.
Those are some fantastic. You don't even have to go to the strip joint on that one. You just you're giving away the dollar. You won't have any dollars left anyway, so
that's
it won't matter.
Called a fun pit.
Yeah,
it's
that's the fun pit. Yeah. That's a pants optional pit for some people. Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay.
Just not the players.
There's not a lot of liberal play left on tables.
No.
And in fact, there's not a lot of low limit tables. Although that's coming back, by the way. That has to come back. The demonopolization of the strip, being that there's a lot more new owners.
Yep.
It's coming. It's just taking a minute. Everybody's literally. You have to imagine all these casino operators are just soaking it all in. They're just loving it. For some reason, everybody lost their mind. I disagree with the article. There was an article not too long ago that talked about people just being degenerate gamblers and losing their minds in Vegas.
Seldom do we even see that.
That's not what's contributing to the win. The win is short money. The win is short money. The win is quite literally people coming to Vegas with the same bankroll, but the table limits are so much higher. There's only so much you can do.
Exactly.
And short money play will kill you all day long.
Every time. It's the worst thing you can do.
So the casinos are running up this look at margins. That's the new word on the street when you talk to, because it used to not be so much about margins. It was always about cash flow. Let's bring in more cash, more people. Even if we make less on the shows, for example, we'll make more on the tables. But so it was a low margin game. You just had more money, more people, and you eked out a little bit of that's why it's free cigarettes, free cafe, free coupons. Now it's all about maximizing. People ask me all the time, well, why are the table limits kept so high, especially when they're dead? Because it's maxing out those margins. Now they're looking for those margins. It's okay to have less players if the players that they do have are willing to just literally play $15, $100 buy-ins. They're able to improve their margins. Same thing with Shows aren't cheap. Holy
No.
crap.
Oh,
Shows used to be the
really?
lure.
You got them for nothing. I can remember tickets being handed out like
Yeah.
they were nothing. Now, I haven't seen a show in years.
Yeah, they're so expensive. I
Oh.
mean, not just the shows. And now you go to eat, and eating. I mean, we did takeout the other day for $50.
Right.
I mean,
and that's a
it's-
cheap meal in
that
a
is a
casino.
cheap meal.
That is a hamburger and fries.
Look at the foofy drinks, dude. $25, $35 for one foofy drink because they come up with a name. They mix a few things in.
Yep.
They give it some weird name.
Listen, let's be honest. It's $12.50 for your average mixed drink in a
I don't know where-
casino
I don't know.
bar. That's a lot.
That's
for
off
just a
strip, dude.
common, you know.
That's a back alley bar, dude. You haven't been to the strip
and
recently.
that's cheap.
That Chandelier Bar at Cosmo, dude. They have these ultra lounges. They call them an ultra lounge because apparently, if you sit down in an ultra lounge, I was gonna say something. So I was just about to be canceled.
I went to the Cosmo, to one of their bars there by the front door. I had the best bartender I think I have ever had.
They have some great bartenders. You kidding me? If I'm making $200,000 a year, I'm gonna be a great bartender
This guy was
too.
incredible. He made
Yeah.
the best drink.
Oh,
He
yeah.
made it the same every time.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good.
No, they have these digital measurement things now, dude.
The
Everything is
cocktail
to scale.
waitresses, yeah.
No, they got everything down to like a science, dude.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they.
And a lot of the cocktail waitresses are making their own drinks with computer assistance anymore.
Oh,
which
it's
is-
just fantastic. Anyways, any way to sort of eke out a living, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these drinks have gone to a whole nother level. But yeah, so all right, so let's get past because I can have a whole conversation about the ultra lounge. See, that's the thing. You put a sticker on it, now all of a sudden it's an ultra lounge. Some of them are fantastic, beautiful, really, but you have to wonder if they paid this much for the stool.
Right.
That drink is not coming cheap.
It's not
dude.
cheap,
And
no.
then you look up and you see like smoking hot people like everywhere, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, this beautiful surroundings, and now you know that putting that drink in you is going to be expensive.
There's this bar at Bellagio. You go down these stairs, and there's this beautiful bar downstairs. I don't even know what it's called, but you can see the fountains, and it's just, if you want to meet somebody, it's like the best place.
Oh, the
in
Wynn
Vegas.
has that too. They have these two bars across this sort of mini fountain thing. Remember that one, Dennis, that we saw? And they had menus up on the side, and we were like, "Holy crap, dude! I brought the wrong credit card." I mean, what happened here?
costs some
And they don't even have room. They're just full. People are waiting outside.
Yep.
It's just a place to be now. It's amazing. All right. Well, anyways, we better get back to the show, dude, because you got work and I got work and we got things to do. And Dennis has, he has a bedtime. He's got to get tucked in. Anyways. That's the look I get like most of the day. Look at him there with his little ghost. Okay. All right, so let's get past blackjack. So, nice thing about blackjack, by the way, if you're a beginner, it's real easy. It's non-confrontational because there's not a lot to learn. You put your money in the circle. You want to get 21. The closest to 21 wins.
And a simple strategy card gets you there.
And they love that you have this. By the way, come to Casino Quest. We have strategy cards. We'll give you one. You can take that to the casino. Most casinos love it.
And if you want to learn how to play blackjack, kind of get the nuances of the game, because blackjack's one of those games that's really simple, but there's a lot of strategy involved. So those strategy cards kind of help teach you how to play the game. Really important. Anybody that is a new blackjack player that sits down without a strategy card is just asking to spend a very short amount of time at that table.
Yeah, so you know what they won't allow you to have at the game, by the way, is you can't open a book. You can't have a book on the table because no casino allows that. Because I had a player who's like, well, I brought the book and you said I could have it. Not the whole book, dude. Just the card.
Just the card.
And then beyond that, you can't be marking off the numbers that are coming up on the table. That's counting cards.
No
They're
pens.
not gonna let you
pens.
write down what you see, especially if you're on a face-up table and you're on a double, and you're sitting there you're like, well, you said I could have a card, but not a card and a pen. The card's got to have stuff on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It can't be.
A small strategy card is okay,
Yeah.
even if it's just too big. If you've printed off a whole page of paper, they're not going to let you sit there with it.
I had this lady come up to me and she's like, well, they have cards on Baccarat where you can keep track. And I'm like,
Baccarat's
well,
different.
Baccarat's a little
Same
different.
with
She's
roulette.
like, do you have these cards for blackjack? And we're like, no, honey, because the casino is this big. It wouldn't be this big if we had those cards
no,
on
it would
blackjack. It'd be a different thing.
And
It
we're
would be a
back
lot
to
smaller.
that independent decision thing.
Yeah.
On blackjack, it is not an independent decision.
Yeah.
One hand is controlled by the last hand. The available cards that are left. The deck has a memory. So keeping track, no good.
Yeah, keep track, and especially if you have a continuous shuffler. I mean, the casinos are getting pretty smart about this stuff. All right. That's it. I mean, I think that's it. I just know that if you walk into a pit and it's a lot of beautiful people with beautiful cards and everybody's dancing and it's a big vibe, you're probably going to get screwed.
Right. Yep.
That's, you know what I mean? I mean,
you got to ask yourself what you're there for. Are you there
some
to
of
play
us want to get
cards
screwed.
or to look at girls? If
That's
you want
it,
to look at
100%.
girls, go hang out. It's a lot of fun.
100%.
If you want to play cards, find a good place to play cards. Look for the odds. Look for the type of game. You want a 3-2 game. You want to be able to, probably they're going to hit a soft 17, but in the high limit rooms, a lot of them stand on 17s. And every rule that's in your favor is between a half a point and a point advantage to you. So those are important.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not advocating against dancing. I love dancing dealers. I love the party pits, but they serve their purpose. Having model dealers, having that experience. I have to tell you this. The one caveat I have is if you're learning blackjack for the first time,
it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It might be the way to go because you're going to get these model dealers will engage with you on a new level. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I mean that in the best way. I mean, a lot of these, we trained a lot of model dealers, some of the friendliest dealers you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah.
And they're wonderful, and those
they're
are the
actually picked for being friendly.
Yep.
So that's the whole idea.
And so if you're just starting out and you don't really care, you want to learn the game a little bit, other than of course coming to Casino Quest because we'll teach you. But if you want to go to a casino live action and have sort of this lower threshold, that's the kind of game you want.
Oh yeah.
And they'll help you, and they make fun. They have fun.
So let's mention that. Yeah. Very important. Picking the right dealer. If you're there to learn a game, walk around and look for a dealer that looks up at you while you're standing there in front of the game and says, "Hi, how you doing?" That's the game to sit down on.
Genius.
He's ready to help you. If you walk up to a game and the dealer's got his eyes down and he's not talking and he's pumping cards, that is not the game to learn the game on. Walk around, look for somebody that makes eye contact, that obviously wants to deal to you, and let them know right off the bat, "Hey, I'm learning this game." And it'll be a much better experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Let's move on to the next game. My favorite, Baccarat. No, craps. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing with craps. Craps breaks down a couple different variations, right? Mm-hmm. So we teach what's called downtown strip odds. We say that, but it's not always true. There are some downtown casinos that have strip odds. Some strip casinos have Resorts World downtown odds. So by that I mean 16 and 31, high side, low side. All right, so without going into all the complexities of games, there's just like blackjack, there are games that are that skew more towards a player's advantage, and then there are games that don't have any advantage. So like it really just depends on how you play and what kind of player you are. So if you're a pass line player, for example, the pass line works the same pretty much everywhere, and the odds pay the same, and the come bets and the come bet odds pay the same pretty much everywhere. There's not a lot of distinction. Whether you play at Venetian or you play it somewhere else downtown, El Cortez, for example, same thing.
Isn't it mostly how much they'll let you take as odds is the thing that...
Well, yes. So like then it goes to double odds, 3, 4, 5 odds. There is, but if you're just starting, I would say keep the double odds, keep your investment low. If you're looking for a place to max out your odds and you're a pass line player and you want to make your odds, then that's not something I advocate. So there you go. Move on from that because I'm not a big pass line player myself. I don't teach that as an opportunity play, although some people will see that as such. But yeah, so like having, like the Cromwell used to have 100 times odds, and there are casinos, there are a lot of casinos in town that have 10 times odds, and the odds bet is a true odds bet.
So you're getting the actual payoff.
The only bet in the casino where there's no theoretical win for the casino.
No vig.
You get 0 comp value, by the way, for your odds. There are some casinos that'll give you the first check down or the first even money check down for that. So, like, if you have $5 on the pass line, they'll give you the first $5 for odds. So that way you don't walk away a $5 player. You're a $10 player. Because it pisses people off when they have $25 for odds on the 6 and 8. They have $5 on the pass line, and they're a $5 player, even though they have 30 in action. Because, players see themselves, hey, that's my money. I have it at risk.
$30.
$30.
Yeah. Right.
But the casino only gives you comp value for 5, most of them.
Right.
Because any bet...
they're not making any money off that
0 money.
Bet.
Technically. But when we teach you here, we talk about opportunity. The truth is once you come out on the point, there are more ways not to hit your point again. So even though the odds theoretically have no theoretical advantage, the advantage is that you're probably not going to hit the point. I mean, the play is you're probably not going to win because there are more ways to make a 7 than any other combination on the dice.
Right.
So as much as people talk about, well, I'm out on the 6 and there's 5 ways to make a 6, there are still 6 ways to make a 7. So it's still as much as, anyways, we can go into this forever. But when it comes on to the game itself, all right, what I tell people is when you're just learning the game, you keep it structurally simple. And then when you keep it simple, it really doesn't matter where you play, other than the fact that if you're a field better, for example, and you want to look for some place that has a triple on a 2 or a 12, you won't see triple on both, but you'll see a double on the aces, maybe a triple on the 12. You also, if you like betting anything but craps, so craps pays the same everywhere. Any 7 straight up pays basically the same, and the hard ways pay the same anyway. The bets that are different are hopping easy ways or hopping hard ways. A hard way is a double. So an easy way is a non-double. So like a 9, you can only roll the 9 easy. There's a 2-way 9, right? 6-3, 5-4. You can't roll it as doubles. And so there's what they call a high side and a low side payoff. And that's the distinction between what we call downtown odds and strip odds. So for the low side or easy way payouts, some casinos will pay 16-4-1. Other casinos pay 15-4-1. They pay a little bit less. It doesn't matter so much if you're only rolling out dollars. If you're playing dollars up there, not a big deal. You're going to be off a dollar here and there, not such a big throwback. But if you start investing real money, and a lot of these tables have really scaled up, and you're a $25 player, $100 player on a craps game, and you like betting a horn, or horn is part of your strategy, or 3-way craps, this kind of thing, then you really want to look for a downtown odds table, or higher, a 16-31 game. Otherwise, it's a 15-30 game. Anyways, lots of nuances of the game. The other part of the table that you want to look for is that we talk about here is a place bet strategy. So there's a lot of place bet strategy. And just so we're clear, I have a lot of strategies I work out for YouTube. YouTube strategies and strategies that I will teach you here in person a little bit different.
Right.
So we have people that, we have the 1 that's been popular, the 1+, the 1+7, all these different variations, and they're lots of fun, and they're built for YouTube. And I want you to know, like, this is the unfiltered David. Those aren't necessarily my favorite. The 1, I love the 1, by the way, but I'm not big on hedging, because hedging is really just about timing.
And you're giving away your odds when you do that.
And yeah, so if you're really just timing, then just call your bets off. Because that's if you're looking to then hedge with a 7 or some kind of DC bet, then you're just it's just timing. You know what I mean? Really.
Right.
For me, I want to maximize my win on the table as quickly as possible. I want to get out. I want to have the casino's money in place. I want to get out my investment as quickly as possible, and then build as much opportunity as I can as fast as possible. That's really the goal. Mm-hmm. If I'm playing for YouTube, I play to grind, because I have to be in play for an hour. We got to film 4 videos.
Right.
If we go all in and it's 0.7.
And most of those YouTube videos are about grind. I mean, they just are.
No, they really are. And most of the YouTube videos is really banter. Mm-hmm. It's banter, in engagement. We're playing different strategies. You get to see how we interact with the casino, with other players, and that's really the purpose.
Right.
When it comes, obviously, like if we're playing slots, I know there's a big audience out there that watch these slot players, and the only exciting thing about that, unless it's just literally banter, is they hit something. Right. And then you're like, whoa, look at that. Wow. You know what I'm saying? People will wait through the whole video just to get to that one point.
I can't imagine watching somebody play a slot machine.
No, I can't. I can barely imagine myself playing. But just know that when, craps there are levels to playing craps. And a lot of people call themselves advanced, but there's a whole lot to know. What's a contract bet, what's not a contract. You can take your money off the don'ts. It's amazing how many people don't know that they can literally pick their money off the don'ts at any time. They can call no action. They don't have to go behind the number. There's a lot of different ways to play. Mm-hmm. And I always feel like information is empowerment.
Sure.
If you really want to max out a crap table, don't just know that 6 and 8 are a thing.
Right.
Or don't just do pass lines and come bets, because they suck. In my entire life as a casino dealer, I very rarely see people cash out any significant money with a combet system, unless it's super aggressive. It's very rare. The return on investment on place bets is 2x, more than 2x. The 4 and 10 pays better on a buy than any way you can get there on the odds, playing the pass line odds. It's just a fact. And if you don't have this knowledge, if you don't go out with this knowledge and break this down for yourself and learn, you're depriving yourself of the opportunity to play. You might as well just go and grind the field.
Right.
It's the same as any other bet you're gonna make. Under any go play 000.
Right. Yeah, you might as well.
You know what I mean? So that's why we're here. We want to give you empowerment. We want to allow you not so much. There's no secret sauce. The secret sauce is hope, I guess. A lot of people talk about, hey, hire me and I'll show you how to win. We have a guy here.
Oh, that's the silliest crap
who's constantly trying to say, listen, dude, I don't just teach people how to play, I teach people how to win. He has it right on his card. That's not a thing.
Nobody teaches anybody how to win.
The casinos are big. They're big, they're fat, they got a lot of really, big fat people. They make a ton of money, and they do so because the secret sauce is the way that you win is to create opportunity when it arises. When you get those lucky spins, when you get the lucky roll,
exactly.
When you're on a hot shoe.
Simple system. Yep. Bet more when you're winning.
Yeah.
Bet less when you're losing.
Genius, dude.
And let me
Genius.
tell
You heard it here first,
I
folks.
say that to people all the time.
Yeah.
I've had a guy, I remember this guy one time when I first got in the business. He comes up to the game, he buys in $1,000, and that was a lot back then. So I was like, oh, wow.
Big
let's
pee-pee
be
money.
careful. So I'm playing with this guy. He's a nice guy. We're talking. And I'm noticing that he is winning 80 or 90% of his hands and losing money. Because he would win, and then he would put out a big chunk and lose. Win, and he'd slowly progress and then put and lose. He won. It's about betting more when you're winning and betting less when you're losing. Don't get determined. Oh, I'm going to get the next hand. The next one is mine for sure. Let me bet everything. Well, that's the end of your night gaming, and you're going to think the dealer cheated you somehow, or it's not fair, or all of this. But in the end, it was you choosing to play in a foolish way, and it's just not the way to do it.
So on craps, I teach you a progression, a system of progression that meets your needs. People get emotionally connected, right?
That's the worst. It's just numbers.
Yeah, you got to disconnect. You got to let it go. You want to use the casino's money as much as possible. So most of the double tap that we have is to teach people to get in, get out, be emotionally disconnected, and then just go for the jugular.
Sure.
That's really it. The rest of it is just a grind. If you wonder why you've been grinding away all your money, because that's all you've ever been playing. Even when you've left the casino with a few $100s, you're still just grinding away. They're beating you at the long game. The long game is always in favor of the casino.
Always.
Unless you know how to maximize your opportunity.
When you look at the graph of winning and losing, it becomes a bell curve. And if the longer you play, the more you're locked in to the standard for the bell curve, which is losing the percentage you're supposed to lose on the game. One hand, you could be anywhere on that bell curve. So you could be up $1 million, down $1 million, anywhere on it. You could be anywhere. But out of 1 million hands, you're going to be exactly in that center, winning or losing, whatever the advantage is on the game. And so, striking hot and getting out of there with your money is the way to do it.
So let me just very quickly, hopefully we'll, in a very linear way, because we have a lot of craps fans, let me tell you the things to look for on a crap table. One is, in the field, one of the triples. Okay. So 2 or 12, a triple. The next is downtown, what we call downtown odds, but 16, 30, 31. So 16 for 1 on the low side payoffs hopping, 31 for 1 on the high side payoffs hopping. Okay. The next thing is auto buys. So auto buys are the 4 and 10, starting at $10, so you get paid $19 instead of $18. So the first $10 bet on the 4 and 10, you get your auto buy, and then you don't have to pre-buy the numbers. So back in my day, you had a pre-buy. So you would go, let's say, 162 across if you're betting quarters, because you had to pre-buy the 4 and 10 for $1 each. Casinos now are more liberal craps tables will let you post-buy, meaning you buy once it hits. You don't have to pre-buy the 4 and 10. If you're a lay player, make sure that you're paying the juice on the win itself. So you pay the juice to Vigorous on the bet on the 4 and 10 on buys, and then you pay it on the win on the lays, and then again not prepaying for lays. So some casinos will post-pay on buys but prepay on lays because they don't like dark players necessarily. They want to collect that money up front. The other thing is that there are even more liberal casinos I've heard of in the Biloxi or Gulf Coast that auto buy the 5 and 9 for place bets now. So they'll pay you 3-2 minus the 5% vig, which is fantastic. And by the way, it never works out. The 6 and 8, you just get paid 7-6 because it never works out to actually buy the 6 and 8. But just know that as a player, you can buy the 5 and 9. There's nothing that says you can't. I've had some very informed, educated players that buy the 5 and 9. You can always ask to buy the 5 and 9, and it definitely works to your advantage at higher levels. The only thing is, the sad part is that a lot of casinos or a lot of dealers have never dealt with that here in Vegas. And so when you say, hey, buy my 5 for $30, let's say, they'll look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah.
And they just don't know how to deal with it. So that's really, and then of course, having what the max odds are. If you're a pass line bettor, clearly, if you're going to bet the pass line, you have to take max odds. I mean, it's just too good a bet. It's literally like putting 1 quarter in a 5-quarter machine.
Exactly.
You're just not going to cash out. You have to be committed to making cash.
Now, after all of that jargon, you got to understand that craps takes a little learning. You got to find a friendly craps dealer, sidle up to that game, let him know that you want to learn, throw him a toke right away, let him know you're going to pay him to teach you, and learn all this stuff. This is how you get it, standing there with the dealer explaining, hey, do this. A lot of times you're not going to understand. Trust the dealer. They're not trying to screw you over. They want help.
No, most of them want to help. There's some grumpy ass dealers out there. Avoid them like the plague, dude. Just walk away.
But they're obvious. You know them immediately.
Yeah, they're easy to pick out. No, 100%.
They've got a big sign on their forehead. Don't
all
talk
this,
to me.
all this condescending crap. We had another player in here the other day who kind of bets ahead. So dealers typically we can have that. That could be a whole nother thing. But dealers, there are certain types of bets that dealers don't like.
Right.
Just period. They're just
a lot
around.
of work.
There's a lot of work. We refer to those people that make those bets as strokers sometimes.
Yep.
My feeling as a dealer was, first of all, I never commiserate about the bets. I always felt like if a customer's going to bet, it's their money.
Doesn't matter.
That's how the game plays.
Listen, you're there for 8 hours.
Exactly.
You're there.
But there are some dealers that really hate certain types of bets. If you work them a lot, up and down,
oh, then they get nasty.
They can be condescending, talking crap. Don't put up with that.
They're trying to run you off.
No, they're definitely trying to run you off. Yeah. So I wouldn't put up with it. I would literally.
And let me tell you, all these guys that are grumpy jerks, they're all afraid for their jobs. So the minute you call the floorman over and let him know that you're having a little issue, it's going to get better. Let me tell you, they know to be careful. And if someone was giving me a hard time, I would right away let them know, you better be careful.
Yeah, 100%. So the last thing is you want to make sure on a crap table especially that you establish what your average bet is. So, on a blackjack table, you put X amount of money in the circle. Hello, that's your average bet, right?
Right.
And on a lot of other games, roulette, you know what I mean? It's pretty easy to tell, how much you have in play. Crap's a little different.
You spread out.
So it's much more spread out. There's a lot of diversity in the games. Not all the money is your average bet, because now within a minute or two you're coming down, you're going up. There's lots of things that go on. It's a much more diverse game. So it's dealt with differently literally everywhere. There's no two casinos. Well, there's software now that is sort of the same, so they look at it kind of comparably.
Right.
But for those players out there who had a 10 times odds casino and they're not getting any rating for their odds, just find out if they rate you, how they rate you, what your average bet is. You can do it right from start, or when you're finished, before you leave the table, say, hey, what did you have me down as? How much time?
Listen, that's the best thing. If you're playing for comps, if the whole reason you're there is for comps, and it can be lucrative. There are many places where you're not really going to win money, but you get away with so much in comps that it's worth every penny. The first thing you want to do when you halfway through your time playing is clue that floorman into the fact that you're interested in being rated well. So questions like, what's my average bet? Listen, I would never walk away from a table game without finding out what he has me at my average bet. And let's be honest, any floorman will bump it up a little bit just to keep you happy. So ask for it. If you want $25 more on and I would always want $25 more, ask for it. And odds are the floorman's going to give it to you.
Yeah. And be mindful, too, that your average bet may change. So, I call the floorman over not when my average bet has gone down, but when it's gone up.
And you want to point those hands
If
out.
I start winning, I'll be like, hey, look at this.
Woo.
Yeah. Draw attention to that. That's a clue or a key. Okay, let's go to the next one, which this one will be over in a quickie. We might only have to do the slide here.
You can tell
Baccarat.
we're big Baccarat
guys.
nah.
So we should really have Kelly's son over here and then talk Bach, because she loves Bach. I'll be honest with you. When people sit there and talk to Bach, I literally, I would compare it to Keno, but I can't. I love Keno.
Yeah, it's about as boring as Keno.
Oh my God, sir, we have a hater.
That's it. I don't
Jesus,
hate
that's it.
I
Lights
don't
off.
hate it.
See you
I like
later.
Baccarat, but it's not.
Look at this. Dennis is over there nodding his head.
It's a game that came out of the aristocracy, and it's about sitting there and having your drinks
and pressing the button
cool and looking
understand.
wealthy, and
looking wealthy on Penny Keno,
about
sir.
it.
That's
No,
a bit.
I'm
That's a high.
Baccarat.
No, 100% on Baccarat. Hey, look at me. I got my foofy over here.
Exactly.
Well, so here's it. It's a 50-50 game for the most part. I mean, really got to flip a coin. And then the strategies are really running the board, or playing the board is what they call it. You watch the board, you jot down what's going on. And there's different ways that people have convinced themselves that every 2 it's going to be this way, and every 3 it's going to be this way. And then I had some guy pull me aside. So we have this guy that consistently tries to come to the school, only wants to play because he wants to run hands. So he wants to sit there while the dealers are practicing and literally with his stuff mark all the hands, keep track of the hands. All he wants to do is see the hands, okay? And but he's he gets very aggravated when the dealer isn't so he starts banging on the table. He gets really rude.
At a dealer's school.
At a dealer's school. We're like,
oh my goodness.
That's what killed it for everybody, because we used to offer that to some players who just wanted to sit, work on their strategy, and because our dealers need practice.
You need people to sit there.
And so having people to sit there and engage with them, we thought would be productive. But this guy,
but you don't want to open them up to the most negative part of gaming
this guy's
right
just
off the bat.
cray. And then anyways, he pulls me aside one day and he's talking about the board. He brought this literally diagram that he had been at Palace Station apparently for the 10 hours prior to that. and he had all these sheets that he had filled out with the red and everything.
Right.
And he had this was the pattern, and he was gonna retire, and this
on
was the
this
system,
pattern
on this
that
pattern
happened
he had
that day specifically.
So
every list of random numbers has patterns in it. You're always going to see weird patterns. Doesn't mean that pattern
so how good is
ever going to
Baccarat?
show up.
How good is Baccarat for a player? Would you recommend Baccarat as a game?
If you're that type of player, absolutely. It's got great odds.
Yeah.
It's going to tend to be a little more expensive, so you're going to be in not always, but a lot of times in a high limit setting. The games are going to be $25 to $100, but you're going to get nice odds if you're careful and you don't play too many of the weird side bets. And you're going to get served premium alcohol. You're going to mingle with a little upper crust of society.
I love mingling, man.
And it's fun.
I like to mingle.
Again, Vegas is about people watching.
I'm a mingler.
And each level of gaming are different people and different interests.
God, I would have loved, if I was younger and I could afford to play Bach, that would have been a great cougar experience for me. Don't you think?
God, yes.
That would have been the place to be, instead of just blackjack and this, flimsy
I had a
bar.
cousin that was a little cutie. And,
really?
She was a shill at the Sahara on the Baccarat games. They'd put her in one
Back
of
when
those
there was
silk
big
dresses.
there.
Yeah.
She made a fortune.
She made a fortune, and boy, let me tell you, the rich guys chased after her like it was fun.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So I mean, Baccarat is fun. It's a simple game. There's not a lot to know.
Nope.
And you get in the VI, and just one bet.
Yeah. Your only decision really is player or bank. That's it.
And
honestly,
the dealer runs the card. Midi, you're gonna have to throw the cards in, turn them over. You really don't make any decisions there either. It's just about turning the cards over, because the cards, the way that the cards are pulled is fine. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's set.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not making any decisions.
Say.
You're just like, hey.
Which there are only a few games in the casino where strategy really isn't that important. On a roulette game, it's a fixed odds game. If I sit down and play roulette, or some beginner plays, our odds are exactly the same. So it's a good game for a beginning player, because they're not going to hurt themselves by not knowing the strategy. The same with Baccarat. If you sit down on a Baccarat game, it's a coin toss. It really doesn't matter. Strategy, one day it's going to be good to play it one way, another way. It really doesn't matter in the end. It's pretty fixed. You just sit down, have a good time, and relax.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Well, let's get to the let's get to the bread and butter. Are you ready? I'm just gonna put you on autopilot and go take a pee.
Let me go.
Here we go. All right, so roulette. I'll introduce the different games. Then you could go into the deep dive here because this is the guy for roulette. So really there's 3 different types of roulettes. I mean, unless they're coming up with quadruple zero.
Right. Who knows what's in the future?
Do you know that there was a roulette Bach game? A strange, like, Frankensteinian convergence of roulette and Baccarat on one table. Alex knows about it. We actually came across the layout that was used. I won't say what casino this is because I'm guessing that casino manager blew his brains out. So
it did not work. Roulette is one of those games they love to come up with variations for.
Dude,
none of them work.
You had to see this layout. Alex can talk more about it, but it was the weirdest concoction I'd ever seen.
We had a guy that played quads for a while on the roulette, a quad-based game on the roulette table, and they would bring in a special wheel head for him, and they never win. It's a terrible.
No, they took out that guy and just beat him mercilessly every day. He's like, dude, what have you done to us? Well, anyways, past that, there is 00, which is the most common still. 000 is catching up. If you're on the strip, there's a lot of 000 games.
Yeah, there's more of those than the 00.
And then you have single zero. So far, has been reserved for higher limit. The Europeans mostly.
Yep.
And by the way, so like Baccarat, the same way you go to Europe and it's all roulette, you go to Asian countries and it's just Baccarat.
all Baccarat. Yep.
You know what I mean? And
And that's a part of it being a higher end game. Asian players tend to want to play up a little bit.
And they play aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Aggressive.
I love Asian gamblers. They're the best. They will jump in there with both feet. And
did you ever, they just walk around. These little guys walking around with big old pockets of cash, dude. They're just whacking it. They just, right on. My second job was at the Gold Coast. And one of my favorite stories was they pulled me over. They're like, we want you to learn Baccarat. Come on over here and just check out this game because I had never even seen it before. They didn't have it at the Golden Gate.
Right.
Golden Gate.
Not so much.
No, back then it was 25 cents. There's no Baccarat play there. I had heard of it, but I hadn't, it was the sort of introduction of these mini Bach. And they had them on the 88 tables, the sit-down tables. You know what I mean? What was so special about Baccarat players? They can't stand up, or they can't sit on the big chairs. They got to sit on the little chair.
Right.
And so they bring me up, and the first thing I see is this little Asian lady dealing, and there's this guy there, and he's banging on the table, and he grabs her hand when she goes to get the card. He was so aggressive. And I can only imagine if someone grabbed my hand on the table.
I would not like that.
I mean, it would not. I would lose my job. It would go south from there. I'm not ever. So I'm like, that's it. I'm not dealing Baccarat ever. Ever since then, I've been out of the Baccarat zone. You know what I mean?
I started studying it one time, and just about the time I was done and ready to go actually deal in a casino, I had this epiphany. If I know the game, they might make me deal it. So I stopped immediately.
Yeah. It's like when you know how to cook. You never admit to knowing how to cook or do laundry because that doesn't work out well on a date. No. You know what I mean? You want to,
I don't know.
That's terrible. It's such a sexist thing. Am I canceled?
Actually, cooking. I cook.
Really?
I do, yeah.
Dude, I like people cooking for me.
And let me tell you, it was the best icebreaker with women. They
Really?
all want you. Every woman wants a guy that'll cook for them.
I just know enough French, dude. Just enough words and French.
I don't know much French.
That just takes them out. Yeah, no, I would be lying to say if I was a good cook. Actually, there's a few things I can cook. French toast. I can make a mean French toast.
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
Absolutely
very nice.
mean French toast. And I can boil water, contrary to normal beliefs.
The basic.
You know who's a good cook?
Who?
Dennis is a good cook.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he makes. I was surprised the first time he made something that I thought for sure because I don't like the corn tortilla stuff and the soft corn.
Okay.
I'm really like oof. He made something the other night. It was actually fantastic.
Wow.
I was really impressed because I up until then I was almost sure that I wasn't gonna like it. I mean, from anyone, like anywhere. Right. I'm
not your kind of food.
I'm an old school Dorito tacos person. Old school Mexican. And he was making me actual Mexican food. Like
from
totally different.
From a genuine enchiladas. They were really good.
Did you make the enchilada sauce or use canned?
No, he made it from scratch.
I made everything from scratch.
Oh my God!
It was fantastic.
Such
I couldn't believe
difference.
It. Because when you look at it on the countertop, you're like, "There's no way in hell I'm gonna like that." There's just no way. It's so far from anything most. It doesn't look like grits.
No.
You know what I mean? Or it's not something like you can shovel in your mouth.
And it's actually pretty simple. Most Mexican food is very basic stuff, and it's not that complicated. It's
dude, Dorito tacos. Okay, as basic as it gets, man. 2 tacos and some Dorito meat and some meat. It's fantastic. Yeah, I know.
Box.
Yeah. All right, what are we talking about? Well, roulette. All right, so let's I'm gonna add my SKU, and then I'm gonna just let you go, and I'm literally gonna go take So interestingly, single zero obviously is more favored for a player.
Right. Oh yeah.
The
fewer the zeros, the better the game.
Because the fewer the numbers, simple. It's a lot of people play roulette for comps. And my feeling is the comps are high because the theoreticals are high too for the casino. Yeah.
Well, you can hedge on roulette, so you play enough numbers, you're not going to lose that often.
Yeah.
You tend to get your money back, and if you're building up comps, that's the way to do it. You spend,
ton of strategies. I always think we're going to run out of strategies, and it's amazing. There's no end to the number of strategies.
I went through all the strategies I saw, and they really break down into 2 categories.
Okay.
You're hedging with a martingale of some martingale. There we go.
Yeah.
We always called it a progressive winner or progressive loser.
Yeah.
So you're either progressing when you win, doubling your bet,
or
progressing
you got
when you lose.
a couple new terms, dude. Donking it, that's another new term. The degens that are out there on the term. There's a lot of terms. You got to catch up, dude.
They're all the same thing. All the same thing. You're just spreading out how many numbers you're covering. There's no reason to play more on any specific numbers. A lot of these systems, I see them playing more on one number versus another. Look, same chance of every number coming in, so there is no likelihood. There's no reason to bet different amounts. As far as I'm concerned, if you're going to play roulette, pick how much risk you want, and the risk is how many numbers you're playing. The more numbers you play, the less risk there is.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
And play it that way. I like people that sit and play 2 dozens. Now it's a little boring. I like to play.
I love it.
I like 10-cent roulette, and I want to go out there with fistful of checks and bet all over the place, and I don't think about strategy at all. What I do is I play enough each hand so that if I hit, I will get my money back. So if I'm in $100, I'm making $3 bets, which is $105, right? So I'm putting $3 straight up so that if I hit one, I'm going to get all my money back. Wow. And I tend to progress a little bit into it. So the first spin, I'm going to play $1 on every number. As soon as I'm in $100, I'm playing $3 on every number, and I just progress from that. And the more numbers you play, the less risk or the more average it's going to be. You're not going to win a huge amount, but you shouldn't lose a huge amount. So
basically, Alan Toy's out.
Yeah.
He's a very aggressive.
Well, I mean,
he's
there's
all
nothing
in.
wrong with that. That's fun, and
he's got all his pennies on one number.
On not New Year's Eve, on a Super Bowl one year, this kid comes in and it's his birthday, and all these guys chip in $100 each for this kid, and he puts $1,000 straight up on a number.
Wow!
And I'll be damned if he hit it. He won 35 plus the $1,000, $36,000 he's got now, and he had no idea what was in his hand.
Wow! But he had a new car anyway.
Yeah. So and he played one number, one chance, and sometimes that's fun. And truth is, your likelihood of winning goes up when you play only one hand, because again, you can end up anywhere on that chart, from losing everything to winning everything.
Wow.
And it's great. If you want to walk by and throw $100, just be careful what the game is. You don't want to throw $100 on a 3-0 game. You want to throw $100 on either a single zero or a double zero at the absolute worst.
36 rides up the elevator for that one, dude. I have to share that story. Hey, by the way, I was thinking about this because talk about genius. Copper now is worth a mint.
It is.
And look at this. Alan sent me this big, fat copper coin. It's literally, I think it's 5 ounces of copper. Well, thank you, Alan. I'm now rich. I got this big, fat copper coin here. All right. So, so there we go. So that's a welcome to roulette.
Yep.
Essentially, I think we have an opportunity eventually to do the deep dive into the tables.
Sure.
But we only have 10 more minutes to finish this damn show. So
we are moving along.
Let's get a roll. I know. You know what's interesting is the time flies when you're excited.
It really does.
I love doing this, and I love that all the positive feedback. We got 1 or 2 trolls out there. You're always gonna have those people. Can't play nice, dude.
Yep.
And they can just, jump off a cliff.
Easy
somewhere.
to ignore.
Yep. All right. So the other game that I really enjoy is Pai Gow. I'm going to talk about Pai Gow because Pai Gow is the greatest drinking game ever invented.
It is the most social game there is.
It really is.
It really is.
Because you're going to talk about your hand. A lot of casinos let you, not so much peek, but you can talk about, you can help your neighbor with their hands in some cases. Or you can, if you say you don't know how to set a hand, the dealer will help you. Next thing you know, everybody's talking about it. And it's really the table against the dealer. Unless you end up being the dealer, that's a whole nother level. You can actually be the dealer. They actually have a dealer button. You can become the dealer.
Do they do that on games? I know at the where I work, they don't do that anymore.
Really? Not anymore?
No, not anymore. It's a face-up Pai Gow, and it's kind of like
you got to go. Yeah. You know what? That's strange that you say that because I used to play at the Mirage just because, not just that, but a few things. Because I love being the dealer. But you got to be able to pay for everybody's wins. They're gonna you got to put your money there, and they got to make sure you can cover whatever the table is.
Because you're the casino.
Because you're the dealer.
Now.
You become the casino, and you win on ties the same way that the casino does. You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, so
and they used to do the same thing for Baccarat. On a high-end Baccarat game, you can be the dealer and actually push the cards out and play.
Yeah,
dealer.
I mean that's still true with Big Bac and those games where the casino doesn't take a stake. They're really just collecting their big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because they're not going to be playing $1.5 million a hand. You know, those big ass hands that they play. But on Pai Gow, the great thing about Pai Gow is I used to buy in for $100 4 green checks, and I would play $25 a hand, and for the most part you just push. Most of the time you're going to push, you're going to break even, you're going to sit there, cocktails.
Great way to get comps, great way
meet
to have
people,
your
stay in action, and it looks like you're a $25 player. Even though you're really not a $25 player, because 4 hands later I'm going to be out, but I look like I'm a $25 player.
And even only 4 losses, you can do that for an hour. I've seen people sit down with $100 and spend. I had a guy with $100 spend half the night with me one time.
Easily. I've done 5-6 hours, comps to CPK, all that stuff. Okay, and then so then what Pai Gow really comes to, and this is where, here's what I'll recommend. If you like playing Pai Gow, first of all, walk up. It's a very friendly game. Everybody's always, if it's a dead game and the dealer's there, you can, if it's a $10 or $15 game, just know you're probably going to break even. Blackjack, we had a guy go and play Cosmo, wanted to learn to play blackjack and went to Cosmo of all places, $25 minimum hand when he showed up. And he was in $100 before even having any clue why he was losing. Pai Gow's not that way. Even if it's a $25 Pai Gow, and you might reasonably get to stay there a while and kind of work out and really talk to the dealer. We're happy to teach you here too. We have Pai Gow. But just know that the threshold's a little, you'll stay there a little longer. Now, casinos, there are some variances where how casinos set their hands. Some can set them, some casinos kind of go for the win a little bit, other casinos go for the push. And I used to love playing, again, I wasn't really a high limit player, but when I bought in for my $100, $425, I wanted to go to a casino where they played for the push, because that's really all I wanted to do was push and meet other people. I wanted to hang out. But there are casinos that play more aggressively, and we'll split pairs under more conditions, so that way they have a pair up on their they'll have a pair up on their high hand, and that will you'll tend to lose more often, that kind of thing. So that's the only thing to be mindful. But I will say that if you're interested in Pai Gow, don't even worry about that, because it's really a small thing. And unless you want to play aggressive, and if you like a Pai Gow, if you really want to play aggressive, you go to California. And, oh, God, they have aggressive-ass Pai Gow there. Let me tell you, I'm sitting down.
Leaving Vegas to go play Pai Gow in California.
My friend, we were at the Commerce Club, and my friend was a poker player and lured me into a poker game that, of course, I lost because I'm terrible at poker. But Pai Gow was like, Pai Gow, I go to play Pai Gow there, and a guy, I'm playing, I don't know what I'm playing, maybe my 25 or 10 or whatever the minimum was. I always start at the minimum. And some guy comes over, and there are these poo-poo hand. I don't know what the hell they're called. Maybe for some reason I have it in my head that they're called poo-poos. But I'm thinking that wrong. I might have had just gas that day.
Right. Who knows how much you were drinking?
Yeah. And so there's these circles right above where your hand would be, and guess what? That's for some people to bet over you.
Yeah, that's a big thing in Atlantic
a guy comes
City.
up with $500, and next thing you know is he's telling me how to set my hand. Well, I'm not happy about it because I've never, I didn't know this was a thing, and I'm like, dude, don't just put money down and say that you could bet. But he's like, no, that's how it works. he overpay. Whoever bets the most money on the hand gets to play the cards.
Really?
But I'm the one
So
holding
you sit
the cards.
down and put your money
I was
down,
there for
and
2
someone
hours.
else can control it.
I was there for 2 hours.
That's weird.
He comes up to the game, puts $500 down, and now he has control. And meanwhile, I'm like, well, then you carry the card. You hold the cards. And the dealer's like, you got to. So you're saying that I'm now enslaved to
who's
this
paying
guy.
me?
This guy is telling me what to do with my hands.
That's
and
weird.
I'm like, and I wanted to set them conservative, and he wanted to go all aggressive.
For the win, yeah.
Turns out he would have been right. We sat there arguing about it. I should have just went with him. I would have won.
This guy
Damn
that
it.
plays Pai Gow all the
He
time
was like,
for a
fine.
lot more money.
He got tired of pissing me off, and he's like, fine. You set of hands, and I lost. If I'd have gone with his set, I would have won.
Yeah.
Son of a b. But anyways, this is how it works out. All right. Well, all right. Here it is. We'll finish it on the carnivals.
Okay.
So the casino has what's called carnival games, and by that I mean they're just like that.
Right.
They're all the games that are sort of
They're all
out of the
almost
ordinary.
all are poker variants.
A lot of poker variations. On the strip, you'll see them. So a lot of strip casinos require that you know quite a few. The more of these that you know, the more helpful you are to the casino because they have tons of them.
Right.
The most I've ever seen on a casino floor, and me and Alex went and toured a lot of because we want to get an idea of which carnival games we should teach at the school.
Right.
And we typically teach Pai Gow is still considered a carnival game. Ultimate Text Hold'em and 3-card flush are the most popular ones that we teach. But there are casinos that still have, and we get asked this a lot. Paris was the winner of the Carnival Pit. They had the most carnival games. I couldn't believe they had Caribbean Stud, Mississippi Stud, Let It Ride.
Still?
I mean, Let It Ride. I hadn't even seen one of those games in so many years.
Caribbean
this was a couple
Stud
years
has
ago.
been- Oh, okay.
This was
Yeah.
a couple years ago. Maybe it's Baccarat, but I was surprised. Now, when we saw these games, they were closed. So it could have been they were just there and they've been closed forever. I mean, I don't know.
Right, but if they've got them on the floor,
But if they probably opened them for someone. Maybe
Right.
they just had them on. But we were surprised to see so many carnival games on one floor.
that's a nightmare for keeping dealers educated on them.
Yeah, because then you're gonna have one dealer, and that's the same dealer every night. But it really just depends. They have War now. You can play War, guys.
War is so funny.
You can play War. We know some high limit War players.
Oh, yeah.
Aria has War, dude. Aria has War.
People play it. People play it.
And there's a lot of other games that come out as well. Some of the casinos will put up these games that win these gaming convention things, and so they'll do trials. They'll do 90-day trials, and they put them on the casino floors for free. So there's one casino I happen to know who does this on a regular basis, the Mirage. And they put up, so the casino gets a free game for 90 days. They take no real risk in the game. And they sort of test out the consumer interaction. It already goes through Gaming Commission. There's like this mathematics.
They're already approved.
They're already technically approved as games on the floor. And then the casino puts them on the floor and plays them out and sees what kind of engagement there is.
Sure.
And the truth is a lot of these new carnival games have a very tough time.
Oh, yeah.
And if you really want to test out your game, you know what you can do? You can bring it to Casino Quest. We've done that a few times. You can come to
that's a
Casino
great
Quest,
idea.
and you can see it here, put it here, and not only can you promote it to your player base, you can also, guess what? You can tell, hey, the casino manager of whichever casino, right? It's right here. We're literally right across from the Venetian and Wynn.
Right.
So what better place to have a table? Plus, we don't
absolutely.
need. This is an education space. We're just teaching here. We're not. There's no gambling.
No
there's
money
no buying.
involved.
There's no money involved. But if you want to look at engagement and get feedback
Whether
from
people
users,
enjoy playing.
that's it.
Right.
Well, this is an ideal place. This is
It really is.
And you can promote it through our space. We've already done this
It's
with
a
a few
good
games.
first step to get a casino game on the floor.
100%. We have had someone reach out who's trying to promote a game and wants to see what kind of engagement and has talked to us about possibly putting a game in here and asking us what it would take. And we've done YouTube videos, instructional videos, a gameplay. There's a lot of ways that we can help promote your game, work your game, and
Sure.
There you go. That's a big plug. Did you see how organically
Oh,
I
yeah,
worked
you
that in
worked
there?
that right in.
No one even knows that I was
Sales
plugging
pitch.
this. It's like just part of the presentation. What do you think?
Hey,
buddy?
you got to pay the
Well,
bills.
Really quickly, we got
Yeah.
a $5 super chat
Whoa.
from K Panther.
Hello.
Said, what card game do you want to see turn into a table game that hasn't been done yet? I'm waiting to see Ultimate Cribbage.
Yeah, cribbage would be
Really?
great.
Yeah, no, there's a
Yeah.
lot of cribbage players.
Yeah.
How about Scrabble?
Oh, I would be the worst Scrabble player.
Really?
In Vegas drinking Scrabble.
I know.
don't know.
Uno? I mean, I know Uno would be tough. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of games that we love that would be tough. But cribbage.
Yeah, cribbage
be
would be a great
interesting.
game. That could be done. Yeah,
I've seen variations of like Omaha and obviously a lot of poker variants, really. There's so many really interesting. The real problem is that engagement has to be the games have to be very simple and learned very quickly.
Yep.
So when people come up with these brilliant ideas, we saw a game that had like 5 different types of chips. So the idea was to build excitement. The problem with the excitement sometimes is it just gets too convoluted. And yes, it's exciting, but now it takes 10 minutes to explain to somebody. I once had I opened a casino one time, and the threshold was, listen, we had a casino manager who basically said, your pitch is 10 seconds. If I can't understand your game in 10 seconds, we can't explain it to our customer either. We can't use it because people.
The dealer's got to be able to explain it to a new player
quickly
in 10 seconds. I can't explain for an hour.
I mean, maybe not 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, but very quickly, because blackjack 21. Whoever gets to 21, the close of 21, bam.
Right.
It's got to be that easy. I recognize craps obviously not so easy, but the basic fundamentals of craps, pass line, odds, is pretty easy. It's 30 seconds.
Really, you can get on the game with 2 or 3 minutes of explanation.
Yeah.
You can be playing, bought in, everything done, no problem.
Yeah.
If it takes more than that, it's not going to go over
because
in a
that's
casino.
really, because then it moves into like slot games, video machine, where people are willing to sit down and kind of explore. Okay, and even those. Buffalo is the most, is the number one machine because it's so simple. You're just looking for buffaloes. You don't even have to keep track of what the hell's on them. All you want is buffaloes.
Just buffaloes.
Just buffalo. More buffaloes, the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. Some of these other machines that got so complicated. We know a skill-based company that came out with this machine so ridiculously. Yeah, but they were like, oh my God, it's like Candy Crush. It's not like Candy Crush. There's so much crap going on here. No one knows I don't even know what the hell I want or what I need.
And even more than getting explained to you, you've got to be able to watch the game and in a little bit of time understand it. Some of these games, you try to watch them, it makes no sense what's going on.
Yeah, this guy, 5 different checks. It was a bit odd. But anyways, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of games that have potential. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they just don't get past. There's not a way to make them viable in a casino, right?
Right.
Like solitaire. Do you know that's been tried quite a bit? In fact, those of you that like playing a lot of solitaire, there's like the Vegas way. I mean, solitaire has been tried. A lot of people play solitaire. But again, it's just too involved. There's just too many moving parts to that game. There's too much thinking. And you're a few drinks in and you're doing less thinking.
Can you imagine?
You know what I mean? You're trying to figure this out.
Blackjack gets complicated.
The dealer's waiting for you to place your cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, what else you got? Any more questions? Because we got to go. Dan's got to go soon.
Oh, yeah, getting
He's
close.
got busy, yeah.
Last question is,
his pumpkin
what's
time.
the comp value in Ultimate Texas Hold'em?
I think you get comp for everything. I mean, the fact that you sit down, they probably screen you for every dollar you have in your wallet, and that's your comp.
Usually, the bets that you sometimes play, you're only going to get a percentage of. So the last bet you make, where you can make it 4 times your average bet or something like that, that you're not going to get full comp privileges on. But the bets that are in play and can lose every time you're going to get comp privileges. Let It Ride has 3 bets that you make and you pull them back successively.
Yeah.
You don't get full comp value for that because half the time you're not playing all of them.
That's right.
But you get a percentage. So you got to kind of watch the game and be aware of that it's not all comp time.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down. The hard and fast answer is there's no hard and fast answer. There's a lot of different ways that casinos look at bets, and it's just like what you can often just say to the supervisor, hey, don't you think I was an extra $10? And they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, you probably were, because they got to punch it in, unless they're using AI, because that's coming. Where there's no punching in. Like literally they turn you upside down when you come inside the casino, and they know how much you have, how much you can spend, what's your average bet, where your money goes. By the way, some of that AI is ridiculous. We can do a show on that one. We have access to some of that. We've had access to some of that information, and it's so the way that they're moving to really count they want to see the minute you enter the door, they want to be able to track every dollar in and out of your pocket.
Oh yeah.
Even at the like the snack, the gift shop and the buffet,
everywhere.
Money you
That's
gave to
why
your
they
kids.
give you money on your comp card.
Yep.
When you spend money, that's so they can track all of
Everything.
that. It's
They
all
want to
about
know
the
where you
information.
spend it, how you spend it, why you spend it. You know,
we are in the information age, and it is all important and valuable.
Yeah, it's quite something. It's really stunning the amount of data that they've been collecting. You know what I mean? All right, what else we got?
Last question.
Last question
says, who do you complain to about bad selection of table games like 6-5 blackjack, triple, zero roulette?
Okay, go.
Listen, the only way to complain about something like that is to write it in on a website or something like that. If you go complain in the casino, the people that are working in the casino have no control over what games are on that floor. They just don't. It's a casino manager,
table games director,
up and up.
Yeah, VP of casino.
It's not the people that are standing there in suits and ties working the games. They have no control. The ones that have control are the people that are going to read those emails. So send something in on the website, their complaint line. That's the place to direct that type of thing. But in the casino, those people have nothing to do with it. They work what they're told to work, and complaining to them is like pointless.
Yeah, go talk table game director. It's amazing how much power table game directors have. VP casino operations is usually above them.
There you are.
But table game directors will typically lay out like table minimums. They have a lot of shift bosses, for example, will have a lot of control over that because they're supposed to dynamically update that throughout the day. So if they see that it's less busy, maybe they can lower table lower table minimums, or if it's busier, they'll raise table minimums. Or roll out different types of games, different types of, and a lot of them that have digital signs are not stuck, so they can go from 6-5 to 3-2 if they want to.
Right.
You know, I know of some people who would be like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. There is something they can do about it.
Don't play on them.
Yeah.
If you think a game is not good, move. Don't sit on it. If you sit there and play, that will encourage that game, and it'll be around forever. If you don't play there, it'll go away. And
just know, if you are a high value player and you play at a high level, just get a contract game. You know, go down, ask for, if you're at a casino and your space and you know you're a high level player, but you can ask for a 3-2 game.
And every casino has a different level that's a high limit casino player.
Yeah.
If you're at the Bellagio, you got to have a huge amount of money to have that kind of leverage. But if you go into the El Cortez for a much smaller amount of money, they're willing to work with you. You know, a guy that's going to play $500 a hand at the El Cortez is going to get a pretty royal treatment, and you see that a lot.
No, 100%. So big fish, small pond kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
All right, guys, I will say this is the last chance you have, basically. You have to get your RSVPs in. We have to come down. When you come down to Casino Quest, that's the Friday, April 1st, 7 o'clock is when we're starting the festivities here. If you happen to be on our Patreon group at a certain level, I forget what the hell level it is, but we will be announcing the dinner onto Patreon. And then from there, on April 2nd, we only have 100 people that essentially plus 80. So we have 20 of ours and then plus 80 that are going to be part of that banquet from the 6 to 8 p.m. in the Tuscany room, I believe it's called, right?
Oh, Fremont room.
Oh, the Fremont room. My bad. The Fremont room of the Downtown Grand. And so it's going to be a buffet-like dinner. And it's going to be a free dinner, but you have to, and we're giving preference, by the way, to obviously Patreons, and also if you happen to be staying at the Downtown Grand, we're really trying to get people to stay there. It makes sense. The room rates, by the way, are half of what they're supposed to be. So we got this great room rate. You have to use the link that's on our site, casinoquest.biz/RSVP. There's a link there. Or you can call, make your reservations on the phone directly to the Downtown Grand. The number is there. And you ask for the Casino Quest rate so they can book you in under Casino Quest. So those two things. I know that there's quite a few of you who have already gotten rooms at other hotels. That's fantastic. And you're already getting comps and those kinds of things. So that's a win. But those roommates on Thursday, $45, $99 on the weekend. And these are all renovated rooms. So there's all beautiful rooms. The whole place has been redone, renovated. It's a relatively new hotel, so to speak. So we're looking to have a really fantastic time. And then me and Alex and Dennis, everything, the buy-in for Dennis and Jet and all of us is going to be 8:30 on April 2nd. But we're going to be hanging out at the casino, playing some Keno, doing some other stuff, pulling some slot machines. So you'll see us there, and we're going to be part of that whole experience. We're definitely going to have as much fun as possible. Not too much fun, but a lot of fun. All right, so this is sort of your last chance to be part of that.
And hey, listen, if you want to come to Vegas and you've always been nervous about coming, you don't know what to do or how to do it, this is the best opportunity you'll ever get. Yeah, you're getting a rate on the room, and you're going to have people that can kind of point you in the right direction and keep an eye on you and make sure you're not having trouble.
And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this more often. So we're gonna have meetups
I think
much
it's a
more
great
often.
idea.
Especially, we're going to have a Patreon meetup much more often. That's one of the things we're rolling out for Patreon. Plus, we're going to have early views for Patrons. That's going to get started next month. So they're getting ahead of videos now. So that next month, you guys on Patreon will be able to get, see our videos before they come out, some of our strategies, that kind of thing. And then, we're hoping to do the Virgin Gambler event on a regular basis. So for those of you that have people that are coming of age and want to be part of this, we're gonna have submit their names. We're gonna have a party. We want it to be a safe. By the way, we want this to be a safe and empowering thing. This is not about getting wasted, being indeed. This is about coming together with a really a friendly, supportive community that happens to be in the table game business. We've all made lives from this, and we advocate responsible gaming, responsible everything across the board.
We want you to have a good experience for your first time on a table.
Yep, 100%.
It's really important that the first time you play on a table, you have a good experience.
We have a fantastic community. I mean, we have a few, Derek and these kinds of things, you know what I mean? But we're working through it. No, we have really a fantastic community of people. Some of the best fans ever. You just have to know. I mean, we really, you guys, a lot of you guys know each other. I could start doing the names, but if I forget a few people, you guys are handling. But we really do have it's a really wonderful, wonderful group of people. You've been so supportive. You kept us in business. You kept all these people, we kept us all going. You've created opportunities for dealers. We have our Path Up initiative. The haircuts and the black and whites, and all those things are moving forward. We have a lot of wonderful people. And because of you, we have all these relationships with the casinos. We have casinos coming out of the woodworks talking to us because of the brand, because CEG is literally like, we're everywhere. You look up Casino Dealer, literally anywhere you might be. I mean, literally any country you might be, CEG comes up. Our videos come up.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad for some of you, because a lot of wives come in here and go, oh my God, dude. I mean, my husband,
started this.
The husband will go like, Dave, I watch a few of your videos, and the wife's there. No, he watches all of your videos. I feel. But we have a wonderful community. We want, we think this is it's a productive community.
Yeah, and we want to promote the fun side of gaming. Enjoying, responsible, have a good time, come to Vegas, forget what's going on in life, and just enjoy it.
All right, guys, thank you so much. And another podcast in the can.
We
Table
did
number 4.
Number 4.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
All right, guys, take care. We'll see you very soon.